Nice to meet you.
Doing good. Yeah,
You
that's
got
a
a long
high
way to go.
standard.
Nobody wears plaid like that.
Okay, Madam Mayor, it is 6:06 and we are live.
Thank you. Can I have the roll? Welcome everyone. Thursday, May 28th, special city commission meeting regarding board appointments and a financial update. Thursday, May 28th. May I have the roll call, please?
Mayor Betty Resch,
Here.
Vice Mayor Mimi May,
Present.
Commissioner Sarah Maliga,
Present.
Commissioner Christopher McVoy,
Here.
Commissioner Anthony Segrich.
Present.
Ms. May will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will.
It's to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where are we? Okay, I guess I'm going to take over, and we are going to start with the Business Advisory Board and the Planning and Zoning Board advisory. The plan, you know what I mean, the board appointments. A little bit of help here. How do we do this? We have a discussion about each one.
So last time we had a discussion, Vice Mayor, about each, like we each took our turn on who our top candidates were.
Right.
And then I would suggest us do P and Z first, just because it's quicker.
Okay.
And then by then, hopefully the mayor will be back and then we can move forward.
Okay. Yeah, because we're going to need to have her votes too. The only reason I might consider starting with business advisory is that there were some that were on for both lists. Do you think it matters?
I don't think that matters.
Okay. So,
But I don't think it matters.
okay. So let's get those lists out.
We should have our
And,
little cheat sheet. Did you have this from? It was sitting here. They
Uh,
left them on- and everybody should have their sheets with your rankings. They left them on the desk.
well, I mean, I have the ones I filled out.
Yeah, they left new ones here.
Um,
Do you have yours?
we don't have
Fine.
the attorney
You can
here
have
tonight
yours. I
either.
have-
Do these become public record? Do we hand these in at the end?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I know I see my clean ones. Let's do the Business Advisory Board first. And before we do that, I do want to thank everybody who came and applied and put yourself out there and offered to serve this beautiful city. That takes a lot of guts and a lot of compassion for the city. And if you don't get appointed, please don't go away. You know, there's always going to be another position. And just because you're not a voting member doesn't mean that you can't attend the meetings. Everybody has a voice. So that's really important. And if the meetings for planning and zoning or business advisory board really speak to you, go attend. There could be other times when we need members, and then you'll be at the top of the line because you've already done the interviews. So
You said you want to do the business advisor or the P and Z first?
I want to do P and Z first.
Okay.
I'm just looking okay. So this is how I think I'm going to start this. I'm going to ask you guys for your top 3, and I'm going to do you want to do it by points? Like 3 points for number 1, 2 points for number 2, and 1 for number 3. And we'll see who has the most points at the end.
The top 2 will then move on because there's only 2
Correct.
positions. Okay.
All right.
that
So
works.
give me your
works.
top 3 in the order of 1, 2, and 3.
One.
Most points for first, right? 3 points for first, 2 for second, 1 for third, and the one with the most points wins. So let's start with District 1. First let's just make sure we have the right list. So we have William Feldkamp.
Yeah.
Autumn Home I have crossed out. Yes or no?
Yeah, she wasn't here.
She wasn't here. That's what I thought. All right. We have Laura Levitas, Marco Matola, Jackson Stahl, and Lisa Amata.
Lisa
Van Horn, sorry.
That's what I have.
Yes. Is that what you have too, Chris? You good?
mhm.
Okay, so why don't we start with District 1? Tell me your top 3 in order from 1 to 3.
My first choice with, would be 3 points. Is that how you're doing it?
Yep.
Okay, is William Feldkamp.
Okay.
My second choice would be Lisa Van Horn. And third, Jackson Stahl.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McFoy?
First, William Feldkamp, second, Lisa Van Horn, third, Autumn Home.
She was not there, didn't interview?
But she applied and I read her application. That's my vote.
Okay. The mayor's not here right now. Anthony? Okay. And my first choice is Lisa. My second choice was Jackson, and my third choice was Laura. And I don't have the mayor's, but I don't know
I'm
that
sorry, Madam Vice Mayor, I did not hear Mr. Segridge's choices.
Mr. Segrich's first choice was Jackson. His second choice was Lisa, and his third choice was Laura. Lisa Van Horn, Jackson Stahl, Laura Levitas.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do need the mayor's vote. But right now we're at 6 for Mr. Feldkamp. We're at 1 for Autumn. We're at 2 for Ms. Levitas. We're at 0 for Mr. Matola. We're at 6 for Mr. Stahl, and we're at 2, 4, 6, 9 for Lisa. So we need the mayor to vote.
Do we play the Jeopardy music?
I don't want to speak for her.
Oh, we'll just wait.
Do you want to do our business advisory board ones?
Whatever you want. You're running the meeting.
Okay. I think we should,
Okay.
because then we can keep
Moving
moving
it.
along.
Got it.
All right, so business
Two
advisory
vacancies as well.
board, there are 2 vacancies as well. And I think we'll just do that the same way, if that's okay with you guys. Is that the mayor?
Heard something.
Okay, let's start again, if you don't mind, with District 1. So give me your top 3.
Yeah. I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
I know it's hard.
May have the mayor.
She's here.
Okay,
Sorry.
so then let's pause on that. I need your top 3 for the planning and zoning in order.
And here they are.
Okay,
3 for the highest
3.
person.
Well, I'll put the points. Just tell
Yeah.
me who your number 1 choice is.
P&Z. This is P&Z.
Yep.
Number 1 would be Lisa Van. Number
Okay.
1 would be Lisa Van Horn,
All right, number 2
Jackson Stahl,
and number 3.
William Feldkamp.
All right, so that makes 7. 6 turns to 8, 9 turns to 12. If we go from straight rankings, we can welcome Lisa and Jackson to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Okay.
Does that work for everybody?
So who is it?
Lisa Amato, or Van Horn, sorry, we're gonna do
Some name.
some name, and Jackson Stahl. Where's Jackson?
He may not be here.
He may not be
You
here,
don't
but
have to,
but
you
he
don't have
won.
to be here to win.
You don't have to be present to
Filled
it.
in on here.
Yeah,
Um,
and then Madam Clerk, I have the final rankings. If you need
Thank
mine,
you.
but I believe you
I do
probably
too,
have
but
this.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so Mayor, what we did is we
So
just,
I'm sorry, Madam Vice Mayor, do you want to make an official motion?
no,
Could
I,
be a motion.
no, I
No.
think we'll go at the end and
let's accept.
motion both of the boards in at the same time.
Okay,
we-
thank you.
We can continue.
Go ahead.
All right, you want me to keep going or you want to go?
I'm looking for my other list.
Not yet. We can get them at the end.
I'm looking for my list, which I got.
Okay, so when you look for your list, so Craig was not here. So we're gonna do the same thing, though. We're gonna list our top 3. We're gonna give 3 points for our top, 2 points for our second, and 1 point for the third, and then we'll tally them up. District 1,
Okay, sorry. This was really hard.
it was.
And I do understand what Commissioner Segrich said a couple nights ago. So I did speak to the chair about some of this stuff. And we agreed that we would fill these two positions, get a couple monthly meetings under our belt. And then see if there's an opportunity that if the board thinks we need to bring some more people in for a different insight. And so they are open to that conversation. So just for the future reference.
So
if you
should
ma-
we do the top 4 or no?
Well, no, we're gonna do this
Okay.
top 3, but I'm just saying, if you didn't make it now, that doesn't mean that your application or the interview goes away. We could be calling people back in the future. So
Did you start? Thank
does
you.
that make sense?
Yep. I did all that. Yep.
Okay. So my first one is Dipan Patel.
Okay.
My second one is Dylan Lipton. And my third one is Joseph Lipovich. Am I saying his last name right?
Okay, District 2,
Dipan Patel for number 1, Shane Logan for number 2, and Paige Chilton for number 3.
at the top. Okay, thank you. District 4. The other one didn't show up for an interview, so he can vote for whoever he wants. District 4.
I had number 1, Dylan Lipton.
So 3 points for him.
Yep. Number
Okay.
2, Joseph Lipovich.
Okay.
And number 3, Jose Fernandez.
Number 3, Jose Fernandez. Okay, Mayor.
Okay, my number 1 was Jose Fernandez. My
Okay,
number 2 was Shane Logan. My number 3 was Joe Lipovich.
and 1 point for Joe. Okay, and my number 1 was Joe Lipovich. My number 2 was Shane Logan, and my number 3 was Dipan Patel.
Hmm.
So I have total 1 for Paige Chilton, 4 for Jose Fernandez, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Joseph Lipovich. That is hard to say. 5 for Dylan Lipton, 2, 4, 6 for Shane Logan, and 3, 6, 7 for Dipan Patel. So there's a tie with Joe Lipovich and Dipan Patel, and so they would be the first 2.
So,
That would make sense. So they each have 7 points.
well, okay.
Joe and Dipan.
I want to run off election. So, and this was very difficult, 'cause, obviously the different, you know,
I'm gonna keep all my stuff because like I said, if we come back in the next couple of months, it does say that we keep these on file for a year.
Yep,
And then we wouldn't have to go through the process again. Maybe we could just.
right. I mean, we have
Yep.
Shane on deck, then
Make
Dylan,
copies.
then Jose. I mean, we've
Right.
got people who have already,
and there's only
applied.
2 openings.
there's only 2 openings right now.
Okay, we don't want to recount. No,
No.
okay, all right.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Dipan Patel and Joseph Lipovich to the Business Advisory Board.
Second.
Hold on, let me just do both.
Oh,
And
no.
that we appoint Lisa Van Horn and Jackson Stahl to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that is unanimous, and congratulations to those of you on the new boards. I'm assuming the clerk will reach out to you to do ethics training and let you know when the meetings
Sometime.
are. And
Yes,
again,
Madam Vice, I'll reach out to everybody. I will thank everybody.
okay,
And those that were appointed, I will do it a little differently to make sure they know about the ethics training, et cetera.
okay, great. And then, when you do reach out to everybody, because not everybody is here, would you let them know that we're going to keep their applications on, ask them if they would like us to keep their application, if they would be willing to serve if more spots open.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And I missed the beginning of the meeting. I apologize, but I just want to also reiterate thanking everyone for putting in there. It was so enlightening and heartening to see how many qualified and wonderful people tried. So, but if you're not chosen tonight on the board, there are so many ways. Please stay involved in the city. We want to hear from you. I didn't even fill mine out. Thank you, everyone, and stay involved. I always tell people because I read or I hear, oh, this happened, I didn't know about it. Every week, look at the agenda. If there's something on the agenda that piques your interest, hit it and see what it is. And if you have an opinion about it, either email us together or, I mean, separately, or come to the meeting and speak, or send a little comment to be read on the agenda, because we do want to hear from you. And it's one of the hardest things we have is communication, getting the word out. So pay attention and thank you.
So
Do you have a
we-
motion?
yeah, we did the motion, we did the second, we voted.
No,
but-
motion to adjourn.
No, not yet, because, so we need, according to,
Okay.
we need both of the sheets from today. Not the ones we took notes on last time.
Well, that's all I have. I didn't do
So
another sheet.
Do you, just these? Or the ones from during the meeting too?
All
I don't
have
know.
are these.
I mean, you can have the whole folder if you want it. I'm gonna give you the whole
We'll just
folder
give the
back. Okay. There you go. All right, so.
We're
mo-
not adjourning, we're just going into.
Yeah,
the
we're
next
gonna
thing,
go
right?
into the next thing. So thank you for everybody who came and applied. And I mean, obviously you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but that is the end of that portion. And thank you, Mayor, for letting me chair.
Fine job, apparently. Okey doke.
And are both Lisa and DePonte here? And is
Lisa's here.
Lisa here? With your permission, we'll share your contact information with the chair of the Business Advisory Board so she can have communication via email. Is that okay? Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
On P and Z.
Lisa's
Oh.
on P and Z.
You mean?
Joe's
Joe.
not here. I don't see him.
No.
No, okay.
I'm sure she has Joe.
Alrighty. Phase 2. This is an update of the fiscal year financial outlook forecast. Take it away.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, we have our Finance Department here tonight, want to give us a fiscal year 2026 update. And if you have any questions during the process, just be sure to just let us know. We'll try to answer those questions.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, City Commissioners. For the record, my name is Yannick Gendahayo, Finance Director. Joining me this evening is Monica McNunn, Assistant Finance Director for Budget. Unfortunately, she's leaving us soon, her last day
So
being
mad.
tomorrow. Yep. And we also have tonight Candace Dale and Hector Vargas, both senior budget analysts, who will each be presenting a portion of tonight's meeting. So tonight's presentation will provide an overview of the city's financial performance through the second quarter ending March 31st, 2026, with the following agenda. So we'll start off with the budget to actual, followed by the fund balance reserve policy. I'll give you a quick refresher on that. And we'll also do a fund balance analysis for the past 5 years. We'll also do CIP updates for all the projects that are currently active, and we'll provide you an update where they are by fund. And we'll also give you an update on the bond schedule, how much we have left for each bond that we issued. We give you an update on the discretionary sales tax or penny sales tax. We also give you an update on ARPA funds, the ARPA projects that are funded by ARPA. And we'll just go over legislative updates for only the ones that are that would significantly impact the financials. So without, so that's the agenda for now. So we'll go on to the budget to actual, which is going to be presented by Candace Dale.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Madam Mayor, and Commissioners. My name is Candace Dell. I'm a Senior Budget Analyst in the Finance Department, and thank you for the opportunity for presenting the Q2 budget to actuals. We're going to start first with the general funds. And as you can see, revenues remain ahead of prior year's performance at 34.5 million, representing a 5% increase over fiscal year 25 actuals. Expenditures are being well managed and they remain below prior year spending levels at 11%. Current trends indicate the general fund is performing in line with the adopted budget. Yes. Okay.
If you could slow down
I'm
just a
sorry.
bit and speak up just a bit. You're speaking, I'm not literate in economics, so I have to listen really closely.
Okay.
Thank
Is
you.
this better? Can you?
Yeah.
hear me? Okay.
Just keep it slower and a little louder. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Candace, Madam Mayor.
Yes?
They need to share the screen so it could be seen at home.
It's being done as we speak.
Thank you.
Do you want me to start over with the general fund?
If you
or can
would, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Because it's a lot.
General fund revenues remained ahead of prior year's performance at 34.5 million. It is a 5% increase over fiscal year 25 actuals and tracking closely with budget targets. Expenditures,
Where would I see that? You gotta go, so
I'm sorry.
where would I see?
What page are you on?
That's
I'm on the
34,
general
okay.
fund.
Oh,
Oh,
the actual,
General-
okay.
okay,
thank you.
I'm sorry.
We got it.
I flipped. Okay,
So she's comparing quarter to quarter.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
I see,
We
I
didn't-
was on
we
page
didn't see the
4
Number and it was.
and I apologize.
Yeah, we're
I
good.
grabbed like the little thing to move to the next page, but it was the page I was supposed to be looking at.
Mimi and Sarah will guide me.
No, I can't even get to the right page.
That's a sad fact on what I need. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, there's the 34 million.
And that's how much we spent so far.
No, revenue, no, it's how much.
Oh, got it. Actual revenues. So where it says revenues.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I will start over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm on the general fund revenues and I'm using rounded numbers. Okay, so the revenues remain ahead of prior year's performance at 34.5 million. That is a 5% increase over fiscal year 25 actuals. Expenditures remain below prior year spending levels at 29.4 million, and that is 11% below prior year actuals. Current trends indicate that the general fund is performing in line with the adopted budget. And now,
Can I just?
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have no.
Okay.
Just where we look at the lines regarding benefits, do we pay the benefits at the first quarter for the whole year? So that's why we're looking at 70% is paid.
Yes.
Okay.
So benefits, especially the required contribution for the police and fire, it's always paid at the beginning, as
Okay.
well as the general employee plan.
Okay, and then wages is at 40% and we're end of quarter 2, so we should be about 50%.
Correct.
Can you,
So
I
I
mean,
would assume that the reason why we're not at 50% are because of vacancy.
vacancy
vacancies that we have.
positions?
That's correct.
Okay, and then how come non-departmental expenditures are so high?
Because at the beginning of fiscal year or towards November, December, we send the CRA portion. Whatever we collect from, whatever we have budgeted to transfer over to CRA is done at the beginning of the
I
first
see.
quarter.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Next, I'm moving on to, oh, did you have another
No, I'm
question?
sorry, Mr. Segridge.
Yeah.
And Ms. Malega.
So with expenses being a lot lower, are we expecting that they're going to catch up? Meaning we have some big things that we haven't paid for yet, or are we expecting this trend to continue through the rest of the year?
That is we expecting the expenses to catch up, but again, we don't know if those vacancies will still be, if those vacancies position will be filled or not. If they are, then definitely we'll catch up. And also we have other contracts that are coming through the pipeline, so that also may have us catch up as well.
Okay, so right now we shouldn't be expecting an 11% savings on budget at the end of the year.
This is just general fund.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So for fiscal year 26, we had budgeted to use fund balance, but we're still outperforming the expenses because of, we have interest income Are we collecting higher utility
Mhm.
service taxes or state revenue sharing? That's another one that's been coming a lot more higher than what we budgeted for. So we're expecting to be in the positive at the end of the fiscal year.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're expecting the savings to continue.
Yes.
Might not be 11%, but it's
Correct.
some savings to continue.
Yes. yes.
Just one other, just minor comment is when we start off, we're talking about year comparison to year comparison. If we could just add that as a column in there, that way. So you said last year's was 5% above and then 11%
So you
below.
want to see budget to budget and what that percentage is.
The difference.
Yeah, but that was kind of the essence of your summary on it. It would be
Gotcha.
nice if that was there, because the 5% number, if someone doesn't listen to this, they'll lose that and they'll have to self-calculate.
We could add
That's
that
all.
column for the next one.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank you for your
But
comment.
doesn't it say, it doesn't, at the right side where it's tan, it has the budget and the actual from last year. Is that? what-
No, I was talking, so when she gave her summary, part of it's in there, where our expenses are 11% lower
Yeah.
than last year, and our income is
So
5%
just show the
higher.
percentages up and down.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
year-to-year comparison isn't there, but that was the basis of the summary. So
Thank you.
Ms. Malega?
I can't find it in front of me. What is that breakdown on taxes for property taxes? Like versus the on the homestead, because we're looking at what the Senate's actually in office on right now, trying to get rid of property tax.
It was 25% was homestead.
Do you know the number of what our tax would be affected if we lose that property tax?
Yes, it was around $5 million.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, if we lose all of it.
If
So
it's all
for
gone.
those who are listening, this is an education for our voters.
Right.
That if you see the numbers and how close we are, losing $5 million to our general fund balance would be detrimental.
Yes, it would.
And I literally just got an alert 10 minutes ago that they're in session, that we
Yeah.
need to start emailing everybody. Thank you.
Especially if you can't spend it on anything but 5 different things.
Go ahead.
Okay, moving on to the building fund. The building fund revenues are outperforming prior year's actual by 31%. It's driven primarily with permit fees and special assessment generating about 1.05 million. It is about 35% higher in the same period last year and achieving 64% of the annual budget. Expenditures are at 790,000. That is 24% under budget year to date. And the general fund continues to maintain a positive overall financial position. Are there any questions on the on the building fund?
Mr. Segret, well, Mr. McBoy, go, Mr. McBoy
Actually,
first.
I was first.
Mr. Malega first.
My question is, so we're talking about an impact fee, right? And the impact fee that we're looking at would go into the building fund. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Pay attention in class, you two. So we're talking about doing an impact fee. Oh, there's phone a friend. If we do initiate this impact fee, that would go to the building fund revenue and expenditures?
For the record, William Waters, Community Sustainability Director. The mobility fee, which what you're talking about, is its own enterprise fund with its own series of expenses and revenues.
So it'll be a new enterprise fund.
Yes.
So will not go into the building fund.
No, the fee, what we'll be collecting is somewhat based on the amount of the building permit revenues.
Okay, so we will be creating an additional fund for that mobility fee.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Segret?
Thank you. The permit fees, are those flat rate or are they based on the value of the project?
Permit fees are all based on the value of the project, but as a project becomes more expensive, the percentage of the fee goes down.
So with the new legislation that just got passed, are we going to expect a large hit to the revenue for building permit fees?
We do expect some sort of hit. We do expect, I think this is for our next meeting, we were going to propose to raise the minimum permit fee we've got it proposed for next year to be $125. We're proposing it to go to $135 because a lot of the exemptions are going to cover minimum permit fee type items. And so we'll need to make up that difference in some way. There is still a lot of confusion over what you do and do not have to get a permit for regarding that $7,500 exemption, but all life safety issues still require a permit.
And we're no longer going to be able to charge it based on the value of the project, correct? It's gonna have to be based on the actual cost of looking at the.
Well,
permit.
I don't know how our fees are based on what we anticipate the cost to provide the service is.
Okay.
So they should be synonymous. And we've been doing a little bit of a calculation. We have been running low on the minimum permit fee side and roughly online with the other one. There is going to be a lot greater exemption for private provider, which we'll have to incorporate that because we have several larger projects coming along in the next 6 months to a year, and they'll likely go private provider route.
Thank you.
Mr. McBoy?
Thank you. This fund is only the building, or is it permits for fences and I don't know, whatever people are doing on residential things? That's part of this fund?
We're going to be discussing that as part of a new ERP. There are fees that are collected by the building fund that are for other activities, and those go to those other activity revenue lines. But sometimes, and I don't know whether we have a clear delineation under the current system, because we do collect things in the building permit module that have nothing to do with the building permit. There is some concern that some things may end up in the building permit review section that are not actually building permit review, such as right-of-way permits, driveway permits, fence permits, and things like that. So I don't have a direct answer to your question. I feel fairly confident that things are going where they're supposed to go because we do have a definitive revenue line item for everything that is collected based on the fee, but there is some things that don't quite line up always because things are collected in the building permit module that are not related to building permits.
So this is sort of a computing, accounting
A little bit, yeah.
difficult.
We're going to be proposing to move those things out of the building permit and have their own separate section.
And I think what I actually was thinking of was code enforcement stuff. Is in this one or is not in this one?
It has nothing to do with the building permit
Okay.
fees.
And just a general comment, thank you very much for rounding the numbers to 3 significant figures. I think that's
You're welcome.
helps us.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to code remediation fund. And as you can see, revenues remain significantly below expectations at 8.2 thousand with year-to-year date revenues totaling 8,208 compared to 37,103 at this time last year. That is a 78% decline year over year. The expenditures have declined in response to the reduced revenue environment with total expenditures of 31.4 thousand. That's approximately 23% lower than last year.
Could you say that last part again?
For the expenditures?
Yeah, the why, the explanation for the,
Approximately 23% lower than last year
yeah,
and slightly below the fiscal year 26 budget.
but do we know why?
Is there a reason why?
Well, The main reason is, William can expand on it. Main reason is that that fund does not generate sufficient revenues to cover the expenses.
This
It's
is okay, this is when we go out and mow the lawn and we go out and paint the house and charge them back. Is that what this is?
A little bit more complicated. Sorry to be more complicated than that. The remediation fund has 3 primary activities, which are lot clearings,
Right.
board and secures, and demolitions. We have not done very many board ups or demolitions this year. We haven't done demolitions in several years, but we do have one that's kind of pending. It might be undertaken by the private property owner. This is also where all the funding comes for foreclosures. And we are running, I just looked at a series of invoices. The expenditure line here is probably going to take a significant jump between now and the end of the fiscal year because there's about $7,000 just in foreclosure expenses. We're transferring money out of the demolition fund to cover that. This is something we need to talk about later is that the less activity we do in terms of board ups, lot clearings and demolitions, the less revenue we get. Because unless we sell surplus properties, and we've sold all of them except for a couple, and those were reserved for affordable housing, there is no real defined revenue stream for this fund.
At some point, maybe we can take a look at funding, I'm not suggesting it, but could we look at getting some money from some other funds? for that, because to me, I've harped on this a lot. The foreclosure thing is really important. Did you have something, Mr. Perry?
Madam Mayor,
Yeah.
I believe, did we request additional funds during the upcoming budget? Because we discussed this a few months ago. I brought it to
Right.
your attention that this was going on.
We didn't do we didn't do a supplemental because we wanted to have more policy direction from the commission as to what would likely be an appropriate budget in terms of foreclosures. And the city attorney's office was going to give us some idea of what foreclosures cost. And they're running around $7,000 to $12,000 for the initial part, like a title search, hiring an attorney, serving papers, court recording fees and that sort of thing. And even though we decide to foreclose on a property, it doesn't mean we're going to actually get the property.
Mhm.
And then often sometimes there are other things that are owed on those properties, maybe code lien somewhere else. We might be in second in line or third. So it doesn't guarantee we're going to make any money if we actually get the property and sell it.
Right, but it will be out of the hands of the bad owner,
We hope so.
unless the bad owner, we talked about this.
Or
gets
somebody may buy one through a tax deed sale. And we seem to have a lot of property owners buying property through tax deed sales and do not realize that they have a responsibility once they buy the property.
Okay, thank you. Be nice to be able to track that a little bit better. Ms. Milligan.
Thank you. It goes to the point when we have these lot clearing fees and then they go before a special magistrate for a discount or for are they allowed to get up to 10%?
No. Our policy has always been, and through our ordinances too, actual direct costs that the city has paid for cannot be reduced. The only thing that can be reduced is the outstanding lien, which is based on the daily fine that's accruing on the property. So we can't reduce lot clearing costs, board up costs, demolition costs, the administrative costs, those cannot be reduced. They have to be paid. It's the lien that can be reduced up to as much as 10% of what's owed.
And that gets recorded, the fees get raised, it's a lien against the property.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. Ms. May.
I guess my question is, if you look at 25, where besides selling the surplus property, we didn't, I mean, it was nowhere near, we got nowhere near the budget for 25. So why would we think that we would for 26? Why was it budgeted that way if we're coming in at the exact same, actually less on 26?
We did anticipate that we would be actually doing more activities in terms of remediation this year than we have been. And so we have to attribute not only the cost for providing that service, but also the projected revenue that would come in if we did expend that money.
Okay, and when we do, what's preventing us from doing more of the demolition, the lot clearing?
We
Time,
have to have properties that qualify that need that work done. And people have learned that it's way more expensive for us to do it than to do it themselves. And so code compliance has been rather successful this year in having people maintain their own properties.
Then that's good news.
And then we have torn down or encouraged numerous properties to be torn down. And once they're torn down, we don't have that problem anymore.
Okay, so it's not doom and gloom.
No,
good
it's
news.
not.
People are taking care of their properties.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Segrich?
Thank you. So just so I understand, when we foreclose on a property and we actually gain ownership and then later sell it, it becomes revenue here, correct?
It does if we actually sell it for anything.
Sure.
A number of the properties have been given out for free for affordable housing, and that generates no money.
Correct. Yeah. But in the case where we foreclose on it and say someone comes in and outbids the number, I'm assuming our lien gets paid in whole or partially at that point. Where does that revenue go?
That would go over onto the lien collection side. It would not come the remediation fund side,
So that would fall into which fund?
the general fund.
So that goes back to the general fund?
Mhm. If you notice, I think it was 2 slides ago that Candace showed us, we are way ahead of our collections in terms of co-compliance fees. That's under fines and forfeitures. We're already almost at $1 million for this fiscal year versus just over $500,000 last year. We've had several really, really large co-compliance collections this year.
So since the foreclosure expense for obtaining that lien comes out of this fund, wouldn't it stand to reason, couldn't we off the top take our expenses back? Because if we're taking ownership of the property and then selling it, we're putting that revenue in here if there is any. But to me, it would make more sense. I don't know. It's kind of a financial question. You know, if we're getting $200,000 in lien money back and it cost us $20,000 to do the foreclosure, in theory, that $20,000 should come back to this fund.
You're absolutely correct, Commissioner. Under the matching principle, where the cost is incurred is where the revenue should be.
And is that happening here?
Well, I think the codes that we're using is going to the general fund, so we could, if we able to track those specific revenues, we could transfer those funds back to the remediation fund.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
And we could
call.
we could come up with a schedule just to present to you before we do such transfer.
Okay, yeah, because I think that would make more sense and keep this
Right.
looking like a healthier fund. And of course, as Commissioner said, the Commissioner May said, it's kind of a good thing that we don't have a
Correct.
lot of these because people are coming into compliance. This is not a fund that we want to see making money.
Yes.
Right? Because it means people are getting foreclosed on and people are being, you know, we're having forced action. So thank you.
Okay, now we're moving on.
One last
to-
thing, the bottom right-hand corner, I think the calculations are off because it says 0 for everything.
Okay, well, they can look at them. We'll take a note. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're moving on to the beach fund. The beach fund revenues are outperforming prior year trends and tracking ahead of budget overall. We're at 2.29 million, which is 10% above budget and 8% higher than the same period last year. Total expenditures are at 2.54 million, tracking 10% above budgeted year to date, with most increases tying to operating costs and personnel support necessary to maintain beach operations, public safety, and service levels during peak season.
Ms. May?
Is the line that says transportation, I'm assuming that's parking revenue?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and keep going.
Okay, is there any more questions for the
No,
beach fund? I
We'll
can-
let you know.
Oh.
You haven't done this too often.
I do have a question.
Oh, now there's a light. That's how you tell. I call on them, they light a light and I say, Ms. Malega, what would you like to ask?
Okay.
The parking revenue. So is this the metered parking and the decal? The resident decal?
Yes,
So all of it goes into there?
all of it goes in there.
Okay.
Anything at the
Wait,
beach.
in addition to the valet agreement we have with the hotel next door? That goes into
Yes,
this
that goes
line,
in the beach
or
as
does
well.
that go into rent? Of rent and royalties, which one would that go into?
That'll be the rent.
It goes into rent, because they are renting spaces, so I didn't know if the spaces went to parking.
I'll have to double check on that one.
You know, I'm talking about the hotel that rents
yeah.
lower.
Yes, they rent like 80,000 a year.
Yeah.
I believe that goes into the rent. We could double check.
And here comes Miss Tiana,
Oh, it's rentals.
rentals.
Parking
Thank
lot
you.
rentals,
Thank
yeah.
Thank you. So that's separate from parking, even though they're technically parking. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, Candace, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're moving on to IT fund. IT fund is revenues are outperforming prior year trends with year-to-date revenues of 1.87 million. That is 7% over fiscal year 25 actuals, which are driven by internal service charges recoveries. Expenditures are at 1.3 million. And overall, the IT fund continues to operate in a financial stable manner while supporting citywide operations.
Ms. May?
So this is a completely internal fund.
Yes,
And so each department pays X amount of dollars into this fund.
that is correct.
So if we are, quote, making money in this fund, then is it possible that the IT fund or the IT charge for the other departments could be reduced if this fund is overperforming?
Uh,
Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, in like for instance, if for this particular fund, if we see that, you know, that there, because if its fund balance is way in excess of what we have per policy, which I'll cover in a few, we could reimburse or give a credit to the departments. going
Credit.
forward. Yes.
Because I think they pay a percentage, is that right? Or do they pay a
It's-
flat
there's
rate?
a whole allocation.
Yeah,
that
that's what
IT
I thought.
provides.
Also, what are we getting interest on at 200%?
Investments.
From investments.
So, for what investments?
Investments. So each fund has a pool of funds that are being invested in bonds.
Okay,
So it's been performing well for the past 2 years. So that's, and the 200%.
so each department has to put money into the IT fund, which then has its own investment situation going on that then comes back and funds that department?
So this fund is separate. Each fund has a balance in our investment accounts.
Okay,
So as we earn interest based on their proportion, each fund gets the respective investment income.
Yeah, each one has it.
no,
It's
I
not- It's
understand.
not by department. Right.
Okay, I understand that. I'm just kind of, just because it's an internal fund, I'm wondering why. Why would they need the interest if they're getting funded by the department, the exact money that they need?
Well, it's they get the interest. That's just like an accounting, per the accounting rule. That's how we have to allocate the interest by fund. So if the cash portion, if their cash portion is earning interest, we have to allocate that interest income in their fund.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense, I guess. I don't have a problem with it having money in it because I'm hoping that IT is, then going out and looking at new products and trying to bring us
Correct.
more efficient processes and everything. I'm not dissing the IT fund. I'm just trying to figure out how is it all coming in if it's,
Right.
and then how does the internal fund work? That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Malega was first and then Mr. McBoy.
Thank you. So my question is, and I just want clarification on the total operating expenditures of 3 million. Is that the new system? The ERP system? Portion of it?
No, that's the ERP system is in the capital project. It's a separate
So
item.
$3 million in operating expenditures
Yes.
without wages
No, with wages, actually.
or with,
Oh, you mean the operating expenses?
yes, that seems high. And that I was hoping that was the new software system or portion of that we're bringing in. Why would the operating department, I mean, they don't even have that many employees.
It's, just give me a second.
As Nellie runs from the
Here
room.
Hey.
Your mic's not on.
Yep.
So I have operating expenditures, 3.059 million for the budget. Is budgeted.
The
and
4
your
point-
817 is actual.
The 4.4 includes the the ERP,
Thank you. So it wasn't in capital.
correct? That's not capital, not that I'm, yeah.
Oh, it's
The ERP, you have it designated in my budget. I
Oh.
saw it. So it was there. It was like 700 and something.
yeah.
Well, okay,
But
but
this shows
I want to
3
clarify a couple of things because there's a lot that is encumbered for monthly expenses, like our telecommunications, our AT&T bills, Comcast bills, Verizon's, et cetera. So I'm not sure if this shows the encumbered, but those are expenses that will occur. In addition to having renewals that happen in the last quarter. Perfect example is Central Square, and that one's happening it's actually due the second week of June. And that's a bill that's over 300,000. So you don't see that reflected here. So just because you see this percentage doesn't mean that you have a surplus.
Well, no, I was just questioning the operating expenditures of $3 million. That's a lot I think, for an IT department, but that's why I was hoping
So-
part of it was the new ERP.
Oh,
ERP.
and I'll put an example with software maintenance and support alone, it's over $1 million. And to run, all the softwares that the departments use. So just to give you an idea, just software alone is $1 million something. I can't know exactly the dollar amount, but that's part of it.
And that's
Telecommunication as
security,
well.
IT.
That includes the cybersecurity as well. And it includes the software maintenance for the ERP system.
So it does include, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that also obviously went up.
Mr. Segrich?
Thank you. And just real quick, does that also include like telecom and all of that lumped in here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um,
And as for
Mm.
salaries, it's because there's a vacant position as well on that one. And plus we have our GIS as a part-time, although it has to be funded as a full-time in case that person needs to be replaced.
okay. And just so I'm perfectly clear, the ERP implementation is in here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I guess based on what Commissioner May was saying, their fund balance is at 2.5 million. They're required to have 25%, which is around 1.5, which means the fund balance is about $1 million over. Just from personal experience with things like IT, if there's any kind of disaster or incident, you're going to want to have a healthy cushion there for that. Because especially with government and the kind of data that we have, it gets real expensive real fast if there's any kind of an incident.
It's good to have a cushion. It's always good to have a cushion. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. We're
Welcome.
now to the golf fund.
Okay. The golf fund revenues are at 1.47 million, which is 11% above budget and approximately 141,000 higher the same period last year. Expenditures remain well controlled. They are at approximately 943,000, and that's only 11% over budget year to date. Golf fund revenues, the golf fund is performing normal.
Well, within limits. Ms. Malega?
Thank you. So I don't see the rent for the beach club listed under golf fund. I see culture, recreation, interest, donations, and use of fund balance.
Is that under rentals?
It's in that detail.
In what
That's
detail?
a subtotal, the culture recreation.
Okay, I would like to see that broken down because we're getting ready to go out to RFP possibly.
Okay.
And I think that it's very important that we see the return on the investment for that property. It is one of the diamonds that we have in the city.
Correct.
And to me, culture recreation, that's renting golf carts and golfing.
Yeah.
That is not rental of the property.
Right, so just break it
And I
down.
also don't see in here, I and this is something that's just come up recently, so just forgive me. The operating expenditures, is that us also covering the utility bill for that renter? Is that in there? Their water, is that part of the operating expenditures for that property that we're renting?
I would have to double check that.
Okay,
to
because
see if
I
it's
have a lot of
operating.
questions in regards to cleaning up the golf fund personally and making sure that we're getting, the residents' fair share out of that property.
I would have to get back to you on that one during the budget workshop.
Okay.
I'd have to dig in and make sure I give you the correct answer.
Thank you.
Ms. May?
My question's actually for Ms. Maliga. So you're talking about the rent that the city is paid by the beach club?
Correct.
Get paid by the beach club.
Correct.
Okay,
So
so
the-
at first I thought you meant the rent that was being paid to rent the room.
No, so the rental that we are charging, the $4,400, whatever it was,
Right,
$4,600,
right.
I don't see it broken out. And additionally, we had that conversation about utilities
Yep.
and them not paying that. I would like to see that broken out.
I agree with you 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
I just it wasn't clear where you were going at the beginning with the rental, but that makes perfect sense. I'd like to see that too.
Mr. McVoy?
Just recall, or I think I recall, that there may be only 1 meter water, 1 meter electric at that building, in which case it'll be a little hard to know what is
Right.
the
We'll have to find
concession
out.
and what is other stuff.
Correct. So
It'll have to be
those
an
are the
estimate.
details I'll have to.
You're
get
right.
back
And
to
that's
the
what they
departments
staff said
and
they were gonna look into that as well.
get
and
you
Bring
an
that
answer on
back.
How much would it be to do a different meter? Mr. Segrich? No? Okay. No?
Oh, I was just gonna say, can we find out
You'll
for
say,
certain?
Next up, the garage. fund.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, I'm sorry.
I have the interim city manager give an update on that. We've been doing some research and we can provide you a little bit of
On the garage
information about
fund?
the meters.
Oh, the beach.
Tiana McKay, Interim Assistant City Manager. We have been working with our Public Works Department and our team to be able to separate the meters and be able to, when we move forward, be able to invoice the tenant with their utilities. So we are currently working on that internally, and we will have a full update report on that for you.
Just real quick, just real quick, I want to make sure that we're not invoicing them. Like, we're sending them, I want to make sure that whoever's renting that space has their own account number and their own meter. That's what
That
I'm
is-
saying in the future. I want to make sure that we're not just invoicing it as part, like my landlord, as part of my CAM sends me my percentage of the water and the garbage. I don't get the bill directly. So I would like to make sure that whoever does get that space is directly being billed through our city utilities for their services.
They will be, because our electric team and our public works team and our water team have all been working to ensure we are able to do that. And we have created a separate meter.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Garage fund.
Okay, moving on to the garage fund. This is another internal service fund. The garage charges services are up 5% over the prior year. The total revenues are about 814,000, which is a 4% increase. Their expenditures total 889,000 through March of 2026. The year-to-year increase in total expenditures is largely tied to non-departmental costs rather than operational efficiencies within the garage division.
So that went up quite a bit from last year. Mr. McBoy and then Ms. Malega.
Nope.
Ms. Malega and then Ms. McBoy.
Thank you. I don't know if Jamie's here, but this non-departmental $8 million,
Yes, that amount includes the garage fleet, the fleet maintenance facility.
the
That's-
one that's falling down,
Well, the.
or the new one that we're
the new one
building.
that we built.
So that's what's in it. So this is the money that
Yes.
we're putting aside
It's
for
been
the
rolled.
new build
Correct,
that is hopefully gonna be here before I turn 60.
correct.
And we do have the assistant director here if you do have any questions,
Okay.
so.
So my question. Are we gonna just keep that earmarked at 8 million until the garage comes to
It's-
fruition?
Well, the majority of that is the garage, which I think is about 6 million.
Okay,
But there's other projects that keeps rolling from the previous year that are included in that amount. So they keep
Okay.
rolling into the following year.
all right, thank you.
So this is our fleet garage, right?
Yes.
Mr. McBoy and then,
I think that's my question. This has nothing to do with the proposed K Street. This is
No,
the
No,
fleet.
no,
Okay.
there's no expenditures or revenues from it yet, so. Mr. Segridge.
Thank you. So with a large expenditure like that we see kind of going year after year after year, my question is, so we budgeted for it in 2025 and we didn't spend it. So I'm assuming that probably went back to fund balance. Is that correct?
Well, not that particular one, because the garage, the fleet, I believe that was approved in a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a while
2 or
back.
3 years ago, so that's been rolling over. So it's not, so when we budget for this fund, we don't include capital projects. Capital project is separate. It's just showing here because it's because it rolls under them, from the previous year.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I follow that, but in the first year that we put it on there.
Right.
Right.
The money went into the fund
And we
balance.
didn't
Correct.
spend it. That money went back to the fund balance.
Correct. It's in the fund
And then
balance.
each subsequent year that we're putting it on there, we're not re-reserving new monies from somewhere else that's expected to come out of fund balance.
Right.
It's
Correct.
the same,
Yes.
the same.
Yeah, no, I was just
Go- go-
trying to make sure that we weren't going 8, 16, 24, in that way.
And just to
I was
clarify,
gonna say,
when-
I didn't mind that at all.
when the commission approves the budget every year, that's in there. So you're actually approving it again to allocate it. So just for your clarification. Just reallocate it.
Yeah, out of the fund. Yep.
It is a little confusing because it looks like we spent 9 million last year and we're about to spend 9 million this year,
just
which
cleared it
isn't the
up.
case. Yeah,
If we spent it, it would have been in the actual, not in the budget. It's not.
that's true.
I love when
Thank you.
talk finance.
Madam Mayor, I believe that he'll be, the director will be providing an update during budget hearings on the process to build the
Yeah, we'll be
new
going
facility.
on one-on-ones
That's
as we-
correct.
Self-insurance fund.
Okay, so moving on to the self-insurance fund, they have total revenues of 3.68 million through March, which is 11% higher above budget. Expenditures are at 2.6 million, which is 7% above budget and 1% lower than prior year actuals.
And you,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
we're on page 10.
Yes. For self, yeah, self-insurance fund.
Mr. McBoy-
Overall,
Mr. McBoy has a question.
okay, overall, the self-insurance fund is performing at the budget, I'm sorry, the budget train.
Okay. Mr. McBoy?
Just a general question on self-insurance. Is it fair to say that that over, say, a decadal sort of timescale is a fairly noisy fund? Some years there's no expense or small, and other years it may be, we may get hit quite hard and it's probably hard to predict on a year-to-year basis. Is that a reasonable?
So we get the estimates for the insurances, for the property and liability insurances. We get an update on that. There's also personnel costs in there, in that fund as well. But yes, if we do get an emergency, I don't want to say the word, but if we, if we do, then most likely the money comes out of there first.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Just to understand that one.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Segrich?
Thank you. Just as a general question with our property liability, would it be possible to get the asset list that we use to apply for that?
We're currently working with the departments, with asset list to make sure that all the assets that we have insured is complete.
Could I get the one from whatever was applied last?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the other question is, so per our policy, right, we're keeping 25%, or that's our goal, which is 1.5 million.
Right.
And we've got roughly 10 million in there,
Yes.
right? Which is healthy, right? And so on. Understanding that policy is more of a general thing, and this is, where do we think we actually need to be? Because one of the line items that, concerned me was that our premium is like 1.3 million, but we're budgeting close to $3 million for it, which helps increase the fund balance, but how much is too much at some point, right?
Well, we are way over the minimum, as you stated. The ones that assess the claim liability every year, they actually recommend that we keep our fund balance at that level, which, if I remember correctly, was at 3 million, right? However, given our current situation with the pending litigations, that fund could come in handy. If we have any, like, for instance, at this moment, we still have not, we're far from reaching the 8 million for the utility storm fund. Should anything happen, that's the first fund that's going to be the fund that we're going to be using. In addition, if you remember the force main break, that loan is due. I think we paid that loan is due fiscal year 2028, 2 years from now.
So that comes out of
So
here.
if we haven't settled yet with AT&T, those funds will have to come out.
So we should consider ourselves lucky that we have that padding, and there's some existing looming liabilities or potential liabilities that make sense to have that level.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Ms. Malega?
I'm just want to reiterate that even though that fund does look healthy,
Oh,
it just takes one or two things to wipe us out. And we're all very privy of the potential litigations that are happening behind the scenes. So I am, for one, I'm thankful that we overestimate on this every year. Because we don't want to be in a financial situation where we have something come to us in a litigation and we can't fulfill that obligation.
Correct.
That to me, it means a lot. So thank you for making sure that we continue to overfund and make sure that we are protecting the city, the residents, and our finances.
Well, but however, going forward, we're going to keep it where it is.
Keep it where it is.
Give the funds a little.
I don't know, I
give
see
the
those
departments a little.
Those
bit, yeah.
advertisements, Morgan and Morgan. Okay, thank you. Page 11.
Okay, we're moving on to the benefit fund. Revenues are trending ahead of expectations. There are approximately at 2.13 million, which is 16% of budget and about 7% higher than the same period last year. Total benefit expenditures through March are at 2.74 million, which is 23% of the annual budget compared to 15% at the same point last year. The increase is primarily timing related due to insurance and claims related payouts occurring earlier in the fiscal year.
Any questions? All right, keep going.
The next fund we have is the electric funds. Revenues are outperforming prior year and slightly ahead of budget overall. Total revenues are at 36.4 million, which is 3% above budget and 15% higher than prior year actuals. Expenditures are at 29.7 million. Total wages and benefits are running 12% over budget, largely tied to staffing and benefit cost pressures, but those increases are being offset by favorable trends and operating expenditures.
Okay, Ms. Malega?
Thank you. Just for clarification, when we look at the operating expenses and the expenditures, that includes the bond paybacks, correct?
Correct.
Is in that line item, right?
Yes, the 5.9 million.
Well, I'm looking at
non-
operating expenditures.
Non-departmental.
18 point, yeah, is it under operating expenditures or non-departmental?
That would
That's,
be non-departmental.
that's all the bond payments?
Yes, bond payment for the most part, yes.
Yes, okay. And then when I talk about total wages and benefits, I hear that you're saying we're up, but we also know that we have had the grant coming in and we've moved some of the work that we were gonna do forward. So we talked about overtime the other day and how some of the overtime is related to the SHRIP project and the work that we're doing. Does that tie into some of this overtime?
On the expense side, the overtime for general overtime, whether it's SHRIP related or not, would show up in the expense side. If that's the question.
I guess the question is, I want to make sure that we're not giving away too much overtime because now I'm hearing that we're above our expectation on our wages, which makes me worried. Because if this is a SHRIP project and it's on emergency services and it's on outages that we're working on, I don't see the reason for us to be on the higher end.
Well, no, keep in mind that this is a combined budget with base and PCA are both in here together.
I'm talking about wages and benefits. I'm not talking about PC.
Okay. So wages and benefits, we are up on overtime, but we are capitalizing much of that and drawing that down from bond funds.
But it still doesn't make sense to me if it's drawing it down from bond funds. I would rather spend that money on capital and tangibles than spend it on unnecessary overtime if we don't need to do that right now.
The way that we install the capital equipment is to use overtime labor.
I understand.
And that labor is then capitalized together with the equipment that was placed in service.
Done on an overtime schedule.
We have a 3-year time limit to spend down the bond funds. And it also helps speed the ability to improve reliability. And while we're working Saturday overtime, for example, we also have people available to respond to non-capital related outages. Some of the overtime that we also work is related to work that we're doing on roads when we have maintenance of traffic, MOT, for example, on Malaluka.
Stuff.
Well, some of that true, but a lot of it is also when, for example, on Malaluka and Lake Worth Road, when we're working on the underbuild along the new transmission system, we're working longer days, so we don't have as much of a road opening or road lane closures. So we're working 10-hour days out there, for example, to get that done as quickly as possible.
I always think about people who are going back looking at this. Is there any way that we could cliff note something in regards to the increase in overtime and that it is related to SHRIP on capital projects?
I'm assuming finance could do that. We do track it internally. Yes. Yeah.
Trying to, and Commissioner McBoy has said that, we're always trying to build the transparency, especially with the electric utility, right? And our numbers are great. Our outages are great. Like everything's on the up and up. I just don't want people to reflect back on this and be like, well, why are they spending so much of my money and then raising my cost of my PCA and my cost of my electric? Is that so they can continue to pay overtime? So I just want to make sure there's a fine balance in the transparency of what we're doing.
All right. I'll add too for the public listening that when we're working overtime, especially when we're working overtime on capital construction, those are projects which need to get done and we're using our own people to do them on overtime rather than paying contractors to do it. We can't do that in every single project, but where we can use our own people, even if it means working overtime, that's still a lower cost than using a contractor.
That.
Yep.
I fought for us to be able to get the right trucks, to get the right poles, so we didn't have to outsource
Right.
that. But I just think for transparency, for these numbers, that there should be some kind of like little cliff note that it goes towards the bond capital improvements or something,
Sure.
that overtime.
I think, and well, I know when we did the presentation the other night on just, well, 2 nights ago, we were here late, right? There was a column in there that showed out of each bond issue, how much of the work had been done internally. That's not all overtime. For example, I'll say that was a number of about $10 million. I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, they spent $10 million in overtime. No. That $10 million includes the overtime labor and straight time labor and the equipment value that was paid for out of the bond in each one of those years.
Because it's over and above their day-to-day running the electric utility. It's like all the strips.
A lot of the strip stuff takes place a normal day. So for example, I'm going to just round numbers, don't hold me to specifics on it. About 50% of the time that our line department, our linemen and the folks that support them, about 50% of their time is now spent on new stuff, installing new stuff, much of which is done during the basic 40-hour week, but some of which is done by working a couple of hours extra in the evening and also having 1 or 2 crews, usually 1 crew, but sometimes 2 crews work on Saturday. Where that's eligible to be paid for out of a bond fund, meaning it's working on a SHRIP system hardening reliability improvement program. We use a lot of acronyms for everybody, but where it's being spent on those eligible activities, we do charge those accounts. Every dollar or every hour that we spend doing work ourselves is a dollar an hour we didn't spend with a contractor. Not that contractors are bad, but it's very helpful for the morale of our team if they get to earn that extra revenue by giving up their Saturdays to come and do it. And we do that on a voluntary basis. We don't force them to come in.
Talked about this the other night, and it's gives them more ownership. But they know the system so inherently that
yes, they do.
Their bond.
Yep.
All that.
Yep.
The transparency, when you see that number and we hear overtime, we're paying over. Again, especially when we're having a conversation about raising rates, it needs to be very black and white. Why we do what we do.
Right.
The backstory.
Yep.
Well, it would either be that or that money paid out to third party X.
Correct. It's all showing up in our results, and you can see all the new infrastructure. So, and thank you for your support over the years, all of you, and helping us fund that. That's an important part of the program.
Mr. Segrich?
Thank you. Kind of on that topic, the summary comment was that wages and benefits was up from last year, but the numbers that we have on our sheet show it down and the rate down significantly.
I will have to go back and pull that information because there's other things that are tied to this. So that's what the data was looking at. This is just the master of what's all coming together from that spreadsheet.
So are wages and benefits up or down?
I will have to go back and look at the back sheet for that.
Well, one of the things that I'll point out, there are some things that will push that up. So for example, if we go out on mutual aid, that's a significant increase in wages, but we are compensated for that by the receiving entity. Wages go up each year by let's say 3% or so, whatever the last negotiated increase in the cost of living allowance in the wages, that will drive that up. And if we have staffing increases year to year, that'll show up there as well. Of course, it's typically then overtime, whether we work a lot of overtime that year or less overtime that year, it'll swing that number around as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying from here, it's actually lower. So I'm curious where the summary of it being significantly higher came from. Well, no. So the burn rate's at 35% versus 41%, which is great. We're burning through that less fast, and the actual is $300,000 roughly less than last year. So that to me would be a significant decrease, not increase. I just point out because Commissioner Malega's comments were based on the comment that there's this big increase. Well,
we're not seeing
that in the numbers.
We'll have to dig in and give you.
Where did you see the increase?
Okay. And then, and it's kind of, you know, the commentary on the overtime and the capitalization of labor. You know, to your point, Commissioner Malega, it's very important for our residents to kind of understand that concept. And it's not an easy concept to grasp, but think of it as, you know, we could take $1 million out of our pocket now and have to pay for it now, or we can spread that out across a number of years and not have that impact now, but get all the benefit.
And you're constrained on the spread out by the 3-year bond requirement.
Yeah.
Correct. We have to, we're required to spend the bond money within 3 years. There's an IRS test that's applied, and they look also closely at the interest that you earn on the money while you have it. And if you over earn, in essence, on the interest, you wind up refunding that back to the IRS. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Yannick. That's right? If we over earn on bond fund interest, we have to refund that on bond fund interest.
We have to pay the excess to IRS.
Right.
As part of the tax.
No, we don't want to do that. Right. And Commissioner Segrich is correct. When we capitalize things, we basically spread that cost over the life of the asset, which is 28 to 30 years or so for a utility plant. Whereas as we have expensed that $1 million, we take the hit immediately on a financial basis. So I'd rather take 1/30 of the 1 million in that example than 1 million hit to the bottom line. But you can only do that on projects that are truly eligible for capital treatment. And we're very tough judges of ourselves in making those decisions.
If I may, Madam Mayor, we just checked our system. So last year, fiscal year 25 in October, I believe there was a Hurricane Milton where we had to go to Naples. So that's where the salaries were higher, about 300,000 for this 1 month. So that's why you see that decrease.
Yeah, we supported storms in Gainesville, Tallahassee, and then in South Carolina also.
That one back.
Yes, we did. Yes.
So that will go back towards,
That'll go
Goes back to the utility.
goes back to the utility. But
under interest and other earnings. I would suppose.
Yes, that would be on the other earnings.
Thank you. Moving on to page 13.
Okay, so that's moving on to electric utility storm fund. And they are currently at 880,000 for fiscal year 26, which is 34% higher than fiscal year 25 actuals revenues at the same point in time.
Any questions? Thank you.
$5.
What? Is it for a lot of $5?
Yeah, because it's all those $5 fees.
Who's adding it?
But that's good because it should be, if we're getting 1.6 a year, it should take 5 years to get to the 8 million, which if we get there faster, we can take the fee off or reassess what amount we really want to be at.
Page 14. Water fund.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the water fund. The water fund is currently at 10.4 million in revenues and 7.7 million in expenditures.
Ms. Malega?
So I just want to make sure that going forward that into the budget that we're accounting for the new legislation and the surcharge to the outside service area and what that number looks like financially as far as income that's being lost.
Yes, after talking to the water utility director, we were informed that it's capped at 25%, which is what the new bill dictates.
Okay, so what were we charging before?
Before, I'm not sure. Years ago, I don't know what.
We've always been at
believe so.
25?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to lose anything as far as revenue goes.
As far as I'm concerned, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Page 15, local sewer fund revenues and expenses.
Okay, so currently local sewer revenues are at 7.4 million and their expenditures are at 5.6 million.
So both are up. All right. Ms. Malega.
I hate to keep doing this. What is non-departmental under the local sewer?
I believe that's tied to the debt service, but I will have to double check that.
So that's not under operating, it's the debt
It's,
service for the bonds?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Page 15?
Okay, page 15, no, 16.
Oh, 16, I'm sorry.
This is the stormwater fund. Right now, revenues are at 2.7 million. Expenditures are at 1.07 million.
Okay.
Next page, moving on, is page 17 to the refuse fund. The refuse fund is at 5.5 million in revenues and expenditures are at 3.8 million.
Mr. McBoy?
Yeah, I'm a little behind on the stormwater one. I just would like to comment that we do have flooding issues at big storms in various parts of the city. So and I've said on other occasions, we probably are underfunded in this fund. Given the needs and the projected increase in needs, particularly increased rainfall intensity, which is a bummer for flooding. But expected. So just a comment to us to
Did you drive down,
fund it more, I think.
no, we did that last year. We're not doing that again.
I'm just asking, how would we fund it more if it's not increasing the rates?
Well, I mean, we're at 84% already. I think we've funded it. We're getting there.
I think he's talking the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Bigger
Speaking of
picture.
that, did anyone drive down Forest Hill Boulevard this morning? It was literally underwater. The water was above the curb.
Yeah.
So it's not just
It-
us.
It
sinking.
happens in our city too,
Well, we know that. We're well aware of that.
and we're well,
It's not just us.
yeah. No, it's not just us, certainly. We're probably a little worse because we're closer to the coast, but. Yep,
Okay. Refuse.
Refuse fund is the last fund. Revenues right now are currently at 5.5 million and expenditures at 3.8 million.
So both have gone up. Miss May.
Okay, where in the revenues is dumping? The revenue from picking up mattresses?
That would be included, that would be as part of charges for services.
Okay, so that's not just the tax bill, garbage bill, that
It's-
includes any other fee that a
Correct.
resident gets?
Yes.
Is there any way to look at the to find out exactly, like, I pay my garbage and my taxes,
Okay.
but, and so does everybody else. So what do we get from that versus what do we collect on subsequent pickups?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I want to know what are we getting when they're we're driving around picking up those mattresses?
Okay, we can create that schedule for you.
That would-
That's
The
a good
fines
idea.
and the
I like that.
special-
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really want to know, is this a revenue source? And then from that, is it are we funded in our manpower, in our truck power? Do we have what we need to take care of this problem? Because in my mind, we aren't doing a good enough job. So I want to know the details of the money.
I will get together with the department heads and get that breakdown for you.
That's super.
In the,
think
in
that's
the
a good
budget
idea.
workshop.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. The ever present problem of mattresses in the street.
I know.
It's like
A
the
mattress
rains and they
line
just
item, please.
pop up. Ms. Malega.
I also would like to know, I heard that there's been a tipping increase. And I want to make sure that we're not behind on that.
Okay.
If we have to do a fee adjustment now, I would rather do that now than us be in the hole like we were with PCA. If the tipping fee did go up to us. I do like Commissioner May's question. I would like to see that separated because to me, especially because I'm one of the people who sends all the emails about dumping in lots. I would like to know that I'm always told we send the bill and we collect it. That should, to me, should be under a fine, not for a charge of service, because we're not in the business of cleaning up your lot. And it really should equate to a fine, at the end of the day. And I'm making sure that we're not only just getting our fine covering the time of the personnel that's doing it, but the gas that it takes to drive now this load to Lantana
Plus the
and
tipping.
plus the tipping fee. All that's got to be making sure that we're calculating that in right and that we're not losing money on that. Another question that I had on the refuse fund was, I lost it now.
Something.
Oh, excuse me. All right, Mr. Segridge.
Thank you. I know we have the contract with Waste Management where they handle a lot of the dumpsters. Do we get any revenue from that? And where does that appear here if we do?
I would have to refer back to is Mina here?
Yep, here he comes. Hey.
Good evening, Mina
Trying to get
Twadros.
you more money. I'm not knocking you. I'm trying to get you more money to pick up more mattresses.
Uh,
Really?
No, not.
I love our spitty.
not always dressed like that, but yes, we get revenues for the from waste management. Yes, it should be in the I believe it should be rolled in charges of services somehow. Yeah.
Not asking
Break
for
that one out.
a specific number. Do you have any kind of ballpark in your head?
We can get the specifics and separate, like get like a separate column for you.
It's really helpful the more
Yeah.
that we can. 'Cause
Yes.
Number one, we need to know when we get a lot of questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna get an answer.
We can definitely get you the information.
Thank you.
So, I just want to clarify that right now what you see in the budget to actual are just the subtotals, but on the actual budget book, you'll be able to
It's
see
much
the
more detailed.
individual line item. Yes,
And this is through March. This is
this is through March, correct?
Motion for a comfort break. It's
Let's
been
have
an hour and a half.
Is that a line item?
let's have a.
And we're
comfort-
at the end of this section.
All right, we can have a comfort break. We're gonna take a little break. She doesn't have to.
I know.
I've never denied anyone a comfort break. Oh, God.
You okay?
I don't know, I want, no. I'm not okay.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very rare. We're talking. Actually got.
Doing nothing. We have two. And just. Steve and I paid. Colonial Athletic Association in the
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
it is 7:42. Are we ready to reconvene?
I believe we are.
Okay. It is 7:42 and we reconvened.
All right, thank you very much, folks. We're reconvened and we are on a new phase, We're on phase two. Fund
Yes.
balance.
Yes, so the next section is I'll give you guys a quick refresher on the fund balance reserve policy. So the main purpose is to promote fiscal stability across cycles and emergencies, as well as support continuous operations without external liquidity. Next slide. The fund balance for the general fund, the minimum fund balance required is 25% for the most recently concluded fiscal year. And it has four key components: the rainy day reserve, a budget stabilization reserve, capital reserve, and an unassigned fund balance. The rainy day reserves equals to 10% of general fund expenditures for the most recently concluded fiscal year. Requires a supermajority approval, which is 4-1 minimum. A recovery plan must restore the reserve within 3 fiscal year. I'm glad to see for as long as I remember, we've never gotten to that level yet. So the next one is budget stabilization reserve. That's the first line of defense in difficult budget years. Provide short-term flexibility, not for ongoing use, obviously. The target is between 3% and 5% of prior year general fund expenditures. And if we do use those funds, 50% of future surpluses should be deposited until we reach the 5% cap. The next one is the capital reserve fund. We use that for infrastructure and major maintenance investments. The target is 8% of prior year expenditures. Again, if we ever use those reserve fund, 50% of surpluses will have to go in there until we get back to 8%. And this requires a simple majority vote of the commission. The next portion is
Wait, Ms. Malega has a question.
So, thank you for this. I do have a quick question. So I think 3 years ago, we set fiscal policy at an 8% cap transfer from enterprise funds to general funds. I don't ever remember having a conversation on the target of 8%. Is this industry standards? Is this state mandate it?
This is from our fund balance policy.
But I'm saying,
It will
the
be,
so the target is 8% of prior year general fund for the capital reserve. Who set that target?
there's just best GFOA best practice.
That's what I'm saying. So it's best
Yes,
practices.
just
It's
best
not state
practices.
mandated. It's
No,
not.
it's not. This is just for us internally, within, so that 8% is within that 25% minimum.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm not gonna be devil's advocate. Here I go. Ready?
Oh, good.
I don't like not having policies because depending on who's sitting up here, they could say, yeah, I don't like that policy. Let's knock it down to 2%. So because we've never had this discussion, I would like the finance department to mull it over and think if we should set a policy that this fee doesn't drop below a certain percentage.
But we do have fund balance policy. My predecessor, it was actually presented to you. I think you.
No, but I'm talking on the cap. So but is it for each one individually or is it just an overall?
It's overall for the fund.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We
Yes.
don't need one for each of these reserves,
No, we have a policy already set. We have a fund balance
but
policy.
it covers all of these, not individually.
When you mean not individually, what do
Well,
you mean?
because you have the capital reserve, you have the rainy day reserve.
Correct. It covers all of them
It covers,
individually.
that's what I'm
Yes.
asking. So
Yes.
they're all covered under the same general
Yes.
policy.
Yes, the fund balance policy.
That
yes.
was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Segridge?
And just on that, to change that policy requires a vote of the commission as
Correct.
it's stating. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that that overall arching policy covered all of these smaller pockets.
So the unassigned fund balance is the residual balance after rainy day of budget stabilization rate. And the capital reserve are fully funded. It ensures total reserves meet the 25% minimum. It may exceed 25% as well, if the fund is doing well. And it's best used for one-time expenses. We don't like to use fund balance for reoccurring expenses. And it also requires a simple majority vote. Okay. So this section is for the enterprise funds. So the enterprise fund is different from the governmental funds. It's our policy dictates that we have to maintain 180 days of operating expenses, which is 6 months. And that includes the revenue fund, operating maintenance reserve, the renewal and replacement reserve, and utility reserve fund as well. If we do go below that target, we need to restore that balance within 24 months.
Mr. Segridge?
Thank you. So in here it says it's based on 180 days of operating expenses, so roughly half the year for operating expenses. In the fund balance worksheet, we just have 50% of the fund. So are we really just calculating operating expenses or just all total expenses?
All total expenses.
So even if there's
Yes.
capital expenses in there and
Correct.
stuff?
So
Okay.
the minimum fund balance that I have on there is 50% of fiscal year 26 expenses, total, what we budgeted, basically. That's
Okay.
the target. Yes.
Ms. May?
So it has to have these four things minimum.
Yeah, in total, it has to be 50%. And these four things are included in that 50%.
Right, but so those are the minimum and then anything else in there is okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Segridge?
Sorry, but this would include like the non-departmental. in there.
Correct.
Okay.
In the expenses, yes.
Got it.
We want to always shoot higher so that we make sure we meet that balance.
You have to redo.
And then the other funds that do follow the same policy as the general fund is the beach fund, the golf fund, IT and the self-insurance fund, IT, city garage fund, and employee benefit fund. All right, so these are the graphs. I'm gonna go through it fairly quickly. So for the general fund, as you can see from 2021, the red line represents the minimum required fund balance and the blue line is where the actual fund balance is as audited as of fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 26, that is an estimate using our fiscal year 26 budget, using the budget that we adopted, okay? As you can see from 2021, we were very close to our balance, but because the fund has been performing well, we're way above minimum required balance. And during the budget workshop, the Stantec model will show the projection for the next 10 years. Okay.
Ms. May?
When we get into the budget, is Stantec going to be able to do that with and without the property taxes?
Yes,
Good job.
we're going to have them give us different options. hopefully by then, after the special sessions, we'll have an idea where we're gonna be.
Right.
But we should have one with the worst case scenario
Uh-huh.
and another one with, let's just say 50% cut. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Right, right. But we are gonna play with that
Yes.
to make sure. I mean, we're actually better off than a lot of other cities because we only have about 25% of homestead,
Correct.
but it's still gonna be a hit,
It's scary. Yeah.
especially if they limit what we can spend the money on. Well,
They're
not
gonna
not
try.
today. But yeah, so we have to keep our eye on that. Thank you.
Mr. McVoy.
Just because the property tax potential changes is being brought up and it's relevant to these fund balances. You may recall that I had mentioned learning from the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council meetings a while back that some other cities quite a ways north of us, I think, were being proactive and holding, I don't know what they called them. I don't think they called them town meetings, but something like that at the city level to try to educate residents and voters about the potential implications. And they pointed out that they were doing it early because once it might be on the ballot, we're limited to what we can do. I would very much encourage us to do that, that we want to have our residents be as educated as possible. You know, what are the, I don't need to explain. Yeah, what are the implications? So I would encourage us to do that and sooner rather than later.
Ms. May and then Mr. Segrich.
He was first, but I
Mr.
just have one
Segrich and
quick
then Ms.
thing.
May.
I just have one quick thing. The League of Cities has a great kit on that
Yeah.
for sharing with residents. So we should definitely send that out. Thanks.
Mr. Segrich.
On just quickly on that topic, and then I have another, but I found a lot of people want to have kind of in-depth back and forth on that. And so like the meeting with them as a commissioner in like a town hall format was particularly effective. Some people, when they go to like the staff-led things, there's not so much of that interaction. So, you know, it could be a good idea to hold some town halls on that and just have a frank discussion, because it truly is you're trying to ask people to vote against what everything in their nature kind of would indicate if they weren't as, you know, as educated on the implications and what that has. So it's a complex topic. And so it's just that. But on this, we have the general fund, and it shows that we have a very healthy balance, which is awesome. But I also know that just like the self-insurance fund, if I was to say, hey, let's spend that 27 million above, or 20 million of that above that target number, everyone would say, oh no, you can't do that. Right. So I think there's a difference between the minimum target, and each of these funds has kind of like a minimum baseline, but also what's a healthy target, right? Where should be, because it's kind of like that red line is the bare minimum that we should have. And I think it would really help people, because I ran into this when we were discussing the property tax issue. People brought up, well, you've got 20 something million dollars in the general fund. What are you worried about? And it's, you know, a hard question for people to understand unless they know that, well, actually for the general fund, our target is X, let's call it 15 million or what have you. And the reason for that is we have A, B, and C.
Yeah, correct.
You know, we've got the scare of the property tax coming down the road. We have the annex building and something else that we're thinking of with that. What? Cool. That was also a very contentious topic. I got yelled at.
We don't have any.
So, but I think it would be useful for the public, and I would also find it useful because then I don't have to ask that question each time when looking at it, because, you know, something like that.
To answer your question, a healthy fund balance, you know, would be that red line, basically. That's what we consider best practices to be the healthy one. Anything in excess is obviously a plus, considering, if I may, the penny sales tax, we're no longer having them again. And we used to collect about $4 million a year. And after those funds are gone, we're gonna be digging into this fund for for road repairs or whatever, going with your priorities, which would be roads in this case. So
Sure.
it's great for now, we're doing good, but you know, again, things may happen down the line where we may have.
Yeah, so understanding that minimum red line is healthy, and that's
It's
kind of
healthy, yes.
but that's the minimum. So using the self-insurance fund as the example, you're comfortable at 10 million, and you gave us some very good reasons,
Correct,
right?
yes.
So there's the minimum, and then there's that target. So like when we look at the PCA,
Correct.
keeping it in between those lines,
Right, right.
I think it would be very useful for the public to understand if we had that kind of thing, because it's different for each fund. And, you know, some of that might be a policy decision on our part saying, you know what, the minimum standard is, 1.5 million in that self-insurance fund. But actually the city of Lake Worth wants that to be 10 million, and that be a policy. So to your point earlier, somebody doesn't come in and go, ooh, let me spend that. And that's what I wanted to do when I first saw it. I was like, let me spend it now.
Get his finger on the check.
Yeah, no,
So to-
I'm being facetious with that, but I think that would really help.
Correct. So to your point, Commissioner, we could bring back the policy, a revised one that would address those issues for you guys to review and approve.
Yeah, because then we would know, like,
Safeguard.
in actuality, is there an excess? So in the self-insurance fund, no, there really isn't an excess, even though it says 10 million and 1.5, it's actually not an excess. Maybe in the case of this, given the dangers of the property tax thing, it's right where we need it to be, and maybe we need it to be higher. And maybe there's some funds where, you know what, we actually are really in excess, and then we can think about that.
Who was first?
I think me, but I'm not sure.
Mr.
I'm
McCoy.
just going to pile on that one, that I suspect we'll all say something similar, that I very much agree with Commissioner Segrich's concept. Have a line or a number that's a minimum number, but then have a line that's healthy, that's separate, and maybe a little bit of text that we might need to approve, or something that says the reason for this. There is a certain amount of arbitrariness to it, but there's also some logic to it that, hey, for this fund, we want to be above that minimum, and this is what we're going to call, this is our healthy target for XYZ reasons. Doesn't have to be a whole book, but, maybe a paragraph or something, or half a paragraph. And it might be, as Commissioner Segrich says, it might be different for different funds. Yeah. But I think having two numbers or two lines, a minimum and a healthy as separate ones,
Minimum and a
is a
maximum.
good idea.
Yes.
And we can go above the maximum. It's just, I love having money in the bank. Okay. I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you. So two things. Yes, the penny sales tax is gone. I was at the Rolo meeting a couple weeks ago talking about property tax and explained to them, ARPA was a one shot, penny sales tax is gone. If property tax goes, do you like your parks? Do you like your roads? Do you like the infrastructure
big time.
improvements? And everybody was like, oh, I didn't see the bigger picture. Once I explained, like Commissioner Segrich said, you have to talk to 15, 20 people at a time. It could take a long time. I have brought this up a couple times to the city manager's office. There are some cities, in addition to what you're saying, that at their improvements, like when we just did the park at South Palm Park, they put up signs that stay there, paid for by your property tax.
Yeah, good idea.
It's a good idea.
And every improvement, and I've been saying this for 6 months, everything we're doing in town, we should have sandwich boards and signs from the roads to the streetlights that say paid for by your property tax if it is, because it's educating people on where that money really goes. And even though it's only 5 million, we leverage that 5 million for bonds. We leverage that 5 million for legislative appropriations, and people don't know that, for every X dollar, we can multiply that 3 and 4 times. And that really is what the bigger picture is. We're not just losing $5 million. We're losing $5 million of leverage to get more funds. That's the story that we have to try to explain to people. And I think that's extremely important. Back to legislation. We all know how much I hate it. If they come back with utilities next year, you're going to want to have those healthy reserves, because if they say no more transfers to the general fund from utilities, guess what happens to the GF?
Yep.
It's going to dwindle quick
Bad.
if it gets multiplied with the property taxes and A, B, and C. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. However, in addition to the self-insurance fund, this is what I was going to say earlier and I forgot.
Hmm.
You know that sovereign immunity has increased.
Yep.
And it's on a sliding scale to keep increasing.
Yep.
It's not,
Is it at 350?
it's 350 and 5, and then it's going to go up incrementally. That self-insurance fund is what that's for. And let's just say we don't know who's in office 3 years from now, that doesn't come back and they don't achieve that 1 million, 5 million, 1 million, 3 million they were looking for. That's why these fund balances have to be safe right now, because the state legislature wants to take every control away from home rule. And to me, the smartest thing we can do right now is be fiscally responsible, set the policies, set the good example, don't touch the funds, and continue to move the needle forward. And then in 10 years from now, if the different people who are sitting up here, they look at the bank account and go, wait a minute, we need to spend some of this down. Great. We may get a new city hall. So to me, it's a bigger picture. It's not just today and now, right?
Mhm.
So I really think that those sandwich boards and the education signs on paid for by your property tax would go far in our city quickly.
On the trucks and.
And,
things?
and that, what Commissioner Malega just said, that little paragraph of why we chose the healthy target would, be exactly that kind of thing.
Miss May.
Just the other thing I was thinking about with the property tax, it might behoove us to make a video
I was going to say. they put it on the
explaining it
website.
and put it on the website.
We talked about that.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Especially showing the penny sales tax that we're losing and
Yeah.
how the money was here and now this is gone, this is gone.
Property tax for idiots. I would call them. For what?
We'll work on that.
We'll work on that. Thank
I
you.
believe it's for dummies.
Dummies, not idiots.
So the next slide, sorry. Yes, so the next slide is just a pie chart that just goes over all those categories that I covered. And you can see the one in green is the excess unassigned, which is about 9.5 above our limit, 9.5 million.
That's not that much.
Yeah. The next fund is the beach fund. The beach fund, we've been able to stay way above the minimum required fund balance. However, you could see the beach fund is starting to go
Yeah.
down
Trend's
because
not the
it's a fund that struggles it doesn't, even during the budget meetings, it's struggling to maintain its expenses. So that will be a long discussion in the budget workshop. The next slide, you'll see right now it has 1.4 million in excess unassigned above its required minimum. But that can go very fast, especially with some of the CIPs that they have. The next one is
I do have a question real quick.
yes.
The pier repair would come out of beach fund or replacement? God forbid anything would happen. That's a logistics question. I don't know who could answer that. But being that the pier is at the beach, would that be a beach fund repair?
Correct. That would be a beach fund.
So when we're looking at the pylons and the inspections and everything we're doing right now,
Right.
or improvements to any of the rental properties is going to come out of the beach fund.
Unless we have funds elsewhere that we can reappropriate, like
Transfer.
bond fund, if we have some balances left over in the bond fund, we could
Okay.
use those funds as well. Or even ARPAs, if some of those projects
Right.
the ones that we swapped, if those projects are completed and there's some leftover, we could always reallocate that towards the pier. That way we don't touch the fund balance.
So we could reallocate those funds to the beach fund to facilitate the pier and the
Correct.
improvements that are
Correct.
needed. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yes.
Because if the pier goes down, I mean, we don't call the insurance company, right? We call ourselves and say, write a check.
Oh, what? Well, we have to fix it.
Yeah. But there's some people, oh, the insurance will cover it. There's no insurance to cover it. It's our fund.
Sadly, or we
Miss-
don't, if we don't have the money, and that's not where we want to be.
Miss May,
I'm just
hush.
saying, like, we have to think reasonably.
Well, cross that pier when you come to it. Mr. Segridge.
Thank you. Looking at the breakdown, the pie chart, for the beachfront, the rainy day reserve earmarked for 10%, but the number says 18%. Does that mean we've got 8% extra in the rainy day, or?
That's a
what-
typo. Sorry. That is,
So it should be a 10.
mm,
I feel like rain.
yeah, that's a typo. Sorry.
Rain Man.
Or rainy day should be 10%.
Okay,
Well, I,
Mr. McBoy?
Yes, 10% IT.
it seems like that's a general question. I don't know if it was in the other pie chart, but capital reserve says little rough on the fine print here, but 8%, and then underneath it says 14, and BSR is 5, and underneath 9, and rainy day is 10, and underneath 18. I'm sort of assuming that the upper number is the target and the lower number is actual. So
Rainy day
But that-
reserve should be 10%, but we're actually 18%.
but that
Uh,
seems a little odd. I thought that the accounting scheme was you fill them up, you fill the bottle to the max, and then if there's any excess, it goes into the excess bin.
Correct. I'll have to see where that 18%, that additional percentage is feeding from.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe
I can give you guys an update.
it's also true on the general fund pie chart
Yeah, see that's general fund. pie
that
chart
the
as well.
upper and lower numbers are different. Maybe check to see what those numbers are,
Yeah,
those
I have
percentages.
to go back and check where it's pulling from.
Mr. Segridge? Oh, okay, next up, the golf fund.
Yes. Yeah. So Gulf Fund, as you can see, back in 2021, we started by being below the minimum required fund balance, but with improved budgeting and discipline, the Gulf Fund has been performing well. And right now we are significantly higher than the required minimum. Which is a good.
Which is good
Next.
considering all the improvements it needs.
Next slide is the pie chart.
Mr. Segridge has a question.
Sorry.
I was just gonna just ask for clarity, going from 21, 22 to 23. Is that a true increase in revenue, or did we change our accounting somehow there?
I want to say that we increased the fees.
Okay, so
Yes.
I mean, this
Increased
is
the
a
fees.
phenomenal rebound.
Correct.
And staff should be commended for
Absolutely.
doing this for the golf course.
And 2020 was the COVID year, so we did
Right.
we did get hit with significant on the revenue, so that
Well,
people
it's true.
started coming back after that. So
Even 22, 21, and 22 was still COVID.
correct. Yes. So the next slide,
We didn't have it. Okay.
the next slide has the pie charts with the excess at 1 million. Again, I'll have to go back and see where those additional percentages are feeding from. I didn't pay attention. But thank you for pointing it out. The next slide is the IT fund. Also, the IT fund at some point back in 21, that was it was below our required minimum. And with obviously better budgeting and discipline, we're able to get that over the required minimum. And in that fund balance,
Wait.
also
We have a question. We have two questions.
I don't have a question. I have a statement.
Ms.
So-
Flagg has a statement.
I'm not going to take a lot of credit, but it's nice that in 2021, there are a couple of us sitting up here that came in and made some hard decisions, especially when it came to the finance department. And some of those decisions we didn't take lightly, a lot of them, right? And I'm very proud to sit here and look at every one of these funds going in the positive way.
Yep.
And I want to say thank you to the finance department for all the hard work that you put in. We were nowhere near this. It was a very long road to get here. It was some hard conversations, some hard policies that not everybody was in favor of, but I'm really proud of the work that we've done since 2021.
Yeah, it's
And
a real
I
accomplishment.
really want to say thank you. You guys have put in the time, you've risen above. And I mean, honestly, this city was a hot mess financially when I came on in 21. I don't even know why I ran
did-
when I got here,
We didn't
to be
have,
honest with you.
there were no
I mean, the
funds.
finance department was gone. The funds were all over the place. There was we didn't have any rainy day. We didn't even have a drop of water day.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for taking direction, for listening to the people on this commission say, we are serious about the finances of this city and we will do what we have to do to continue to move the needle forward. So thank you
Yeah.
to all of the staff and the finance department for hanging in there.
and making the hard cuts and this trimming where you had to do it to get us here.
And in addition,
so
we've
much.
given raises.
Right.
We've done our comp and class study. We've taken care of our staff. We've replaced infrastructure. We've replaced
Mhm.
trucks and bucket trucks and front loaders. And we've really done really well for in the past
Yeah.
5 years in this city. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been, as you sit here, this hasn't been a grueling budget conversation like it was years ago.
Right.
So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. And we, I mean, we just didn't have this 5 years ago.
No, that's what I just
None
said.
of this
We
is
started
right.
with
Nothing.
awful. So from somebody who has an F&I background, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for listening and some of the guidance on the policies and simple things like the hard cemetery conversation when everybody thought I wanted to sell the cemeteries and dig up bodies. It was hard conversations that had to be had, but we did it all,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm very, very proud of us. I really am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Segrich has a question.
Thank you. I'm kind of assuming the jump in expenses between 25 and 26 has to do with the ERP implementation. It's about $1 million bucks.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And it seems like back so the IT costs, are they assessed to each department by the need of that department or by some percentage calculation?
So we do have a schedule provided by the IT department that has it's for each IT equipment that each department holds per employee. There's an allocation schedule that's out there. It's
So it's by need and
Yes.
and usage?
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess just a general question, thinking about the swim lanes and keeping it in there. It looks like we did make a decision to increase the fund balance above the minimum, and we're doing healthy with that. And it seems to be tapering off. Is there a reason to need, $1.5 million over the 25% minimum?
It's not really $1.5 million, which I was going to explain the next slide.
Okay.
Because that fund balance also includes capital projects that are already committed.
Got
So if you look at the next slide,
The big blue thing.
It's excess funds is about 630,000. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So maybe I was just thinking during the break, maybe we should maybe separate the capital projects from these operating projects. That way, because it can be confusing if it's
And in IT, would software development or new implementation be considered a capital project, or is that strictly hardware kind of stuff?
new software, like a new ERP, that will be a capital project because it can roll over into the next fiscal year. And
Okay.
it's pretty expensive.
Thank you.
Can you just explain the yellow?
The yellow that's just straight from the financial statement. That's other financing uses. So if they're paying like the debt service interest on the loan, so
Okay.
that would fall on that.
So if there is no yellow, then they're not paying debt service,
That-
basically?
For that year, they didn't pay any debt service. Yes.
Okay. All right.
The next slide is SEP insurance. As you can see, as discussed earlier, that that fund has grown to 10 million, and we have excess of 9 million. That's and that would be in the next slide.
Why don't we just increase the minimums in that one?
I'm sorry.
Why don't we just increase the minimums in that one? And then we would have the red line higher and nobody would keep saying, why do we have 10 million in there?
Well, that's policy changes that, our where we could have a minimum
Right.
and a maximum, I guess.
Mhm.
Like for instance, for this particular one, we'll have to go by the claims liability, which is provided by the actuary. I think now it's at 3 million, last time I checked it. But we could also say, okay, the maximum could be, I don't know, 10 million. That could be a policy change that that the dais would have to approve.
No, I don't want to change the maximum. I want to change the minimum.
Bring it up.
We could bring that up too. It's entirely up to you.
Right.
Yeah,
I just
it
think
looks
that,
low.
I mean, it just honestly for the way that it looks, I mean, we
Right.
keep saying we have this 10 million, but really we don't. So why don't we just say that we need to have X amount because of, I mean, there's legitimate reasons why we need to have that. So
Yes.
we should increase our minimum and then we don't have to have a asterisk
Question,
every time
yeah.
we say it.
And I mean, right now we're looking at a lawsuit.
But
that
we're not
it's-
looking at anything.
No, it's already filed. It's in appeals at this point. They're appealing it. And if they are successful in their appeal,
That
that's
that
a
money will-
big chunk of money.
Yep.
So, Mr. Seg,
Oh, sorry.
Rich and Ms. Malega. You first, Malika first.
So yeah, I was gonna say, I understand what you're saying. My concern is when we go to litigation and we go to some of these, through some of the lawsuits, and this is public knowledge, and they go, huh, well, they got this much sitting in their self-insurance. This is this is how much we should go for. I have a
The deep
fear.
Pockets.
I have a fear because the city, people already sue cities thinking that we have an abundance of money. Obviously, we don't. And now with those sovereign immunities already increasing, that's again, a scare for me, but I think we could increase it a little, but I would be afraid of increasing it to 8 or 10 million because it sets a precedent that Lakewood Beach has money and you can sue them. When we don't.
I don't think, it's just.
I don't
I don't think
that's-
anyone's ever seen this circle,
And I also think.
but I agree with you.
I just don't want to set that precedent that we're flush with cash because we're not. And then all of a sudden we start having all these, even frivolous lawsuits, you guys cost us 75,000, 125 legal fees. It adds up.
But we
even
have
when
to
they're
have the
frivolous.
money there. I mean, because there anyway.
But I'm saying I'm saying it is there, but I'm saying if we raise that minimum, that it just makes me worried that it gives the wrong
Puts a target.
impression and puts a target on us. That's all.
Hmm. Thank you. And thank you for that. Mr. Segridge?
Related to that's why I was kind of suggesting more the swim lane approach on it. You keep that minimum there. That's what statutorily and best practices we have to have. And then if that top line of the swim lane is based on current liabilities or current risk, it's a way of showing that money, but it's not really there for the taking. It's reserved because we expect that money might go away in the immediate future.
Yeah.
And for this particular fund, I think that would work out nicely. And then for, the other funds as well. So that would kind of achieve what you're saying, Commissioner May, ends the questions. And, we label it as such here. This is our risk, our current risk. Minimum risk threshold or whatever, you could call that top line something, good. And that would help satisfy your concern of not having, oh, look at all the money we can
It's the
go get.
maximum people can look at, not the minimum.
And that text with that, why the basis for that line and the name of the line becomes important. Both of them.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
when Mayor, I think what Sarah was saying about the minimum, it's like kind of saying, oh, at minimum, you guys should have X number of dollars around for lawsuits. And in my mind, I would like
don't
to
think
see
that
that.
ever stopped anybody from filing a
No,
lawsuit.
but it, yeah, but I understand the point. I think through the labeling and stuff like
I
that,
don't
we
do
could
that.
achieve everybody's
I
concerns.
do a lot of pro bono, and I don't do that kind of law. Okay,
The next fund is the garage fund. The garage fund, the reason why you're seeing such a big gap is because we have a lot of capital projects that are part of the fund balance. And then if you
so
go
it's
on-
gonna come out of the fund balance.
Correct,
Right.
yes. So if you go into it
Right.
shows in the pie chart, which is the next slide. So you actually have approximately unassigned about 34,000 in the garage fund. If we take out all those capital projects, et cetera, so it's just a little cushion over the required fund balance. Okay. The next fund is the employee benefit fund. That fund has, as you can see, since 2021, it was below the required minimum, but we've been able to keep it right above the minimum, the required minimum, which is where we want to be. And the next slide shows the excess funds, which right now is currently at 750,000.
Not much.
No, but
Miss-
employee benefit fund really does not need
Right.
excess funds, so we're
It's not
planning to
emergency.
reduce that one because any cost incurred is shared among all the departments, so, yes.
Miss May?
What happened in 22?
I was
I'm
just
glad
gonna
you-
say-
I'm glad you asked.
literally
I
like,
thought
what,
she's
do
gonna
we
ask.
stop paying benefits? What happened? I know that
Everybody
we got a
know?
big discount, but
You can
I-
pat yourself for that too, because that's when you got elected. Whatever happened.
We did that.
I'm saying it's good.
That's what we're looking into.
I just think the budgeting wasn't done properly, so
We didn't have an increase, but I know that Lauren didn't sit up here and say, hey, we just saved $4 million. I never heard that come out, but I know we didn't have an increase.
Right.
Bad accounting?
I would have to go back and and dig in and see why.
We didn't fire that many people. I mean, it just doesn't.
Yeah, it just seems like a big
Yeah.
jump,
If
but
you know,
whatever. I mean, that was a while ago. It looks good now.
It looks like something drastic happened. Don't know what. but-
Mr. Segrich.
I guess to that note, what we almost doubled going from 25 to 26. Was that more of an accounting adjustment or did we really?
So the 26, I'm just using the budget, basically. Whatever, the numbers are coming straight from the adopted budget.
But it also came after the class and comp and class
Oh,
study,
so
which increased the
26
wages.
includes
It's basically.
non-filled positions
Correct,
and the other one's an actual, which includes
The
the,
Calvary
doesn't
is right.
include the non-filled positions.
correct, yes.
Got it.
And then the jump in fiscal year 21, if I remember correctly, I think we used, and you could see revenues and expenses being in line. I think the benefits, the required pension contribution used to be recorded as a revenue as an expense. And I think we changed that to be booked against liability as opposed to an expense in the revenue. So I think that's why you see that big jump. And it's about $4 million, $5 million. So it's an accounting change that happened.
And it's gonna get better soon with the pensions, the police pensions, correct? So
Oh, yes, it is.
phasing, yeah,
It will.
that's gonna be a chunk we'll have
But yes.
to put in our
No.
fund balance.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I was, like, can we go back over that? So the benefits expenditures, health, dental, FSA card, retirement 450, 401, all those numbers that you guys have options for union, non-union, that is under the total expenditures in 21, but then you reallocated it to liability.
Correct, because this is not money that belongs to the city. It's money that the
It's a
city.
pass through essentially.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
that makes 100% sense to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
We changed that account because now we record it as a liability.
Correct.
Every contribution that comes from the departments is recorded as a liability. because
That makes
It really
sense.
doesn't belong to the city.
Thank you. That makes sense.
It's like I was keeping the books. Here, Betty, you just.
Oh my
you
God.
do that. Yeah, thank God for Lou. Okay, next.
So the next slide is the building fund. So building fund is really dictated by Florida statute. And that one requires to have minimum fund balance of 4-year average. I think we got written up by the internal auditor in the past. So we had to bring that down. So right now we're in line with the Florida statute requirement of balance.
Would you do that again?
I'm sorry?
Would you do that again? Go over that again for me?
No, I don't.
Please.
Go over the presentation. Sorry if I went too fast. Yes, so the building fund in the past we had excess funds, and for Florida statute, it was too high.
Okay.
For Florida statute, you're supposed to keep a
So
minimum
we-
fund balance of averaging 4 years of your expenses, correct?
Thank you.
So, and if you recall, I'm not sure if you remember, but the internal auditor had written us up for it, so what we did, we made sure that we're using fund balance to break it so that we could be in compliance with the
To bring
Florida
it down.
statute. Yes,
Okay, thank
sorry
you.
about that. I'm
Pretty much there.
Yes. So with that said, the required fund balance is 1.7 million. And they have a little excess, like 142,
Uh-oh.
if they need to
I like your
balance the
upside
budget.
down.
Yeah, that's fine. The next fund is the electric fund.
Ms. Malega has a question.
Thank you. Go back to that. So for the building fund, they're in the process of doing a whole build out over there. Where's that capital improvement to that building and those expenditures? Because you just said that they're sitting on 1 point something.
Correct.
1.7.
So
That aren't those repairs coming out of that
Right.
fund balance?
right, so for the 1900 building or any other project that may have been approved under the building fund, we transfer those funds into the capital project funds. So that's why you see that fund going down.
So
over
they
the years.
really aren't sitting on this
No, they're not sitting,
additional.
no, they're not.
Okay, because I remember we had to do an appropriation move. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Segrich.
So just looking at it, the building fund's a capital enterprise fund, right?
It's a special revenue fund.
Okay. And so is it a minimum of the average of 4 year or is it a maximum?
Well, maximum.
Okay.
Did I say minimum?
Yeah. So is there a minimum? Is it the 25 or 50%? Is that what we're shooting for? Or there is no minimum?
This is separate. We have to follow the statute, which is a full year average of their expenses. for
Which means you have to keep
Yes,
below that line, but is there a minimum we have to keep?
that is the minimum.
Oh, so it's the min and max.
Yes,
Gotta
yeah.
stay
We can't
tight.
have too much
Got it.
above it. Yes, like we did in 21. At some point, we're at 4.9 million or even 5 million.
Well,
So-
not on this picture.
Not on this, on the graph, you can see in 22, we're very close. I think we reached 5 million at some point.
Hmm.
Look at the blue line.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the electric fund, the blue and the red switch places.
Oh, okay. So for the electric fund, this is actually the only fund that's been struggling. Obviously, in fiscal year 21, that fund balance was negative. It was even worse prior to that. But Ed and team, we've been working. They've been working well together to get that fund balance up.
Thank you, staff.
And we are now up to 13. We're still short because that is the largest fund of the city.
Mhm.
And its expenses is about 660 or even $70 million. So half of that is 35 million. So we're on the right trend.
Yeah.
We're on the right trend. And thanks to discipline from the electric team and budget policies. Yes,
So 5 years ago, this fund did not exist.
I would
Yeah.
negative.
Let's go.
It was in the negative.
Let's go to the history so that we don't have to relive it. So if we go back in time, 2013, you all passed something, the people who sat in these chairs at that time passed something called rate parity. There was a rate decrease that was made sometime in the 13-14 timeframe, no reduction in operating expenses. It was correct. It was then done again, rate parity in fiscal 17 and fiscal 18. There were rate reductions again with no commensurate reductions in operating costs. We also, no comment. We also had a breakdown of the GT2 turbine, which required about $1.2 million in repairs that hit in fiscal 18, I believe. It happened around November, December of 17. So it spilled over and had to be rebuilt. So that put us in a severely negative position. Up until that time, again, we were cutting revenues to be at rate parity, but we were not cutting expenses. Fortunately, January of 19, we put into effect the new wholesale power contract, supplemental contract, reduced operating expenses by about $9 million a year and began to turn around. Around 2020, 2021, we proposed new rates and we activated the PCA, which would allow to lay dormant for many, many years. And then we had a runaway expense when natural gas prices took off, which put us into a negative. So we've been walking this balancing act, trying to recover. We also then issued the 2020 bond, and around 2022 or so, we were finally, with the previous finance team, allowed to begin to capitalize our own labor and begin to charge labor to capital and also draw it down from bond funds. Better financial engineering, if you will, not improper, but better financial engineering. We began to turn the corner. We're also walking a fine line with what we can do with rates. We're really at rate saturation. In terms of what I mean by that, our commercial customers are paying more than the commercial customers across the street. In some parts of the town, you would say that's across the street. But we're also walking a fine line because we have a very, very significant percentage of our residential customers who are receiving services at or below the cost of service. And we're trying to remain in rate parity. While we take on debt service, turn the system around. The use of the Contra function has been very, very helpful, as well as Contra. That's Contra, CONTRA. That's an accounting function. It has nothing to do with revolutionaries in Central America. No, we're not. I'm not all over North, and no, we're not involved with that. No, that's an accounting function where we review our actual operating expenses, meaning labor and material that are eligible for treatment as capital. We earmark those or bookmark them in spreadsheets, and then they're reviewed by finance. And then if eligible, they're moved over into the capital category and then drawn down out of bond funds. So that's $3 to $4 million a year of work that we've been doing on our own out of O&M in the past is now being paid for as capital out of bond funds. So that's allowed us to turn the corner. We also implemented the rate stabilization fund and the storm fund, all of which help fund balance. So those things began to take into account. So you'll see the fund balances are now growing. If you remember early in the presentation, there was a comment that if you're below the line, you need to recover within 2 years. You all look at that very closely. As a reminder, when you look at the Stantec models, which are not rate-making models, a lot of people think they're cost of service models. They're not. They're revenue sufficiency models. Those revenue sufficiency models also show where your fund balances are, and you all set a target of, I believe, about 2031 to be at the appropriate fund balance level. So this is an exception to that 2-year rule. If we tried to get to that level and within 2 years, it'd be a significant rate pain to our customers. So we're spreading that out over time. We've taken some tough moves along the way. For example, we terminated the longstanding rate discount, which had been given to the college. That generated another $500,000 a year of revenue to the benefit of all, helps build fund balance. So we're all doing the tough things that we need to do to get this fund to where it needs to be and get it to where the analysts on Wall Street would like it to be as well, which helps our bond rating. That's another visit coming up. But we are doing well. In the last 3 years, our last 3 bond issues, we've had successive improvements in our bond ratings and praise from the agencies for what we've achieved.
And that really helps for the folks out there. That just helps us in the bigger picture in terms of rates that we get when we do a bond, and just
Right.
general standing of the city.
Correct.
In general.
Correct. I know not everybody is a fan of growth, but the more customers that we have paying into our fixed costs, that it helps grow fund balance as well. It would be remiss of me not to put in a plea for lower general fund transfers, but you also have a fine line you have to walk there as well. That's why you see me so passionate and animated about these things sometimes, because I'm trying to build a utility bond funds or fund balances as well. But it's all part of one family. Together, we all have to grow the required savings accounts to get to where the financial community wants us to be.
Thank you, Mr.
So-
Oh.
Just trying.
Yep. Yep.
Go ahead.
We have a lot more.
They're going to get the hook and pull me off the stage.
You have visited Liberty
Yes.
University.
I mean,
I
Commissioner
was just going to say that it sounds like there's quite a bit of a balancing act that you're doing between, okay, we want to keep the rate parity relative to our neighbors or slightly under. We also want to keep our bond ratings good, which means we need a little bit more fund balance.
Mhm.
And we want some cushion for storms and all those things. So there's a lot of balls in the air. Thank you. There are a lot of balls in the air, but I think what I'm hearing from you is empirically what the rating agencies are saying is they're pretty happy, even though we're below and our target is a ways out. They're not unhappy about it. Their confidence level is increasing, and that seems like a pretty good trend.
The confidence level is increasing, but we have to show that with actions. And I like your term that we're in a balancing act, but I will take it a step further and say we're in the same canoe. We can recommend things. You all as policymakers have to obviously work it with us as well. And you are, because we can't unilaterally say we're going to raise rates or we're going to make certain adjustments. There's impacts to the community, which you all obviously weigh and help set policy and where we're going to go.
That we're on page 43 of 103. And my question was,
we're
are
just
we
getting
going
started.
through this whole book? And the answer was yes. So if we want to go through this book, we have to limit our questions a little bit to just clarifying this, and any extra questions we have, I think we should ask at another time, just for right now.
Motion to adjourn.
No, we're not adjourning. We have to do this work. So motion to focus.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The next fund is the water fund. Water fund was under the required minimum back in 21, but we've also been able to get above that line, the red line. And on the next slide, you see that the excess funds that the water fund has is approximately 2.9 million. The next one is the local sewer fund. Local sewer fund we've had struggles with that fund for the past few years, but we can now confidently say that it's above water. And the next slide will show that it's now in excess on the side of 1.2 million. The next fund is the stormwater fund. The stormwater fund does have excess funds. Although you see that big gap, we do have committed capital projects of approximately 2.4. And in the next pie chart, you'll see that the excess fund is actually 1.3 million, which is good. The next fund is the refuse fund. The refuse fund has been above the required minimum over the past few years. The reason why the revenues, that fund has gone down in 26. Again, we're going by the fiscal year 26 appropriation. That's because we haven't increased the fees last year.
Right.
Yes, the rates are pretty much the same, but we'll talk more about it during the budget workshop.
Right. And that'll be really important to have that split between what is rates and what is fees.
Correct. Yes. And the next slide will show you that currently it has excess unassigned fund balance of $459,000. Okay. And that will conclude the fund balance analysis. The next section on the agenda is the capital improvement projects, and I would turn that to Hector. We'll quickly go over it.
Hey, Hector.
Hi, Hector Vargas, Senior Budget Analyst. Just to clarify on the pie charts, one quick thing. When we were looking at the capital reserve 10% and the other saying 18. So remember, the 10% is on the prior expenses. The 18% is like of the whole pie, like all of the fund reserve we have. So it's two different metrics. The 10% is calculating the prior year, and the 18 is what we actually have right now.
Okay.
So getting into the capital project updates. So this section provides an overview of the city capital improvement program activity through the second quarter of FY26. So the city has a total of 241 capital projects. Of those, 193 remain active. 48 projects have been completed, and 19 are currently on hold or delayed. Through fiscal month 6, we have spent about $8.6 million on FY26 capital activities. The project status breakdown shows a balance of mixed projects in planning, active construction, closeout, and completion phases. This level of activity reflects the city's continued investment in infrastructure, utility reliability, public facilities, resiliency, transportation improvements.
Can you just shrink that a little bit so the public can see the numbers all the way to the right?
Thanks.
Do you see how on the?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's just this one. You can't see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
okay.
that too.
All right. Okay. Sorry. I want to make sure everybody could see.
Different.
Do you know what I mean?
So this slide shows the distribution of capital projects across the city departments. Electric utility continues to represent the city's largest concentration of capital projects, focused on system resiliency, hardening, undergrounding, transmission improvements, and other overall infrastructure modernization. For reporting purposes, electric utility projects are reflected under SHRIP, SHRIP grant, and electric non-SHRIP. Public Works and Leisure also continue managing substantial number of projects, which include road and sidewalks, fleet and facilities, parks and recs amenities, and community infrastructure improvements. Water, sewer, stormwater, IT, and community sustainability also have projects and continue progressing towards the city's aging infrastructure, resiliency planning, and operational modernization and regulatory requirements. So next chart has the top 10 projects by fiscal year 26 quarter 2 spend. This slide shows the top 10 capital projects based on spending in quarter 2, and also compares that spending to their quarter 1 spending. The chart shows noticeable increases in project activity during the second quarter. The largest spending activity continues to be electric utility, with particular projects in system hardening, underground conversion, and substation improvements. We also saw expenditures in sewer lift stations, public works roadways, and water utility infrastructure improvements.
I'd like to see more roadway projects. I'd like to see roadway projects bumped up a little bit on that list. Yeah, right on. Sewer residents.
This last chart here has the monthly spending by month for fiscal year 2026. As you can see, spending's been steadily climbing with the biggest spending in February and March. March had about 2.7 million in spending, which shows the upward movement towards the priorities on completing the projects.
So it just reflects that we're spending money to finish the projects.
Correct. So next, we're going to start showing all the projects with their statuses. I'm just going to go over the totals. If you have any questions on the projects, we can ask them at the end. So for the city manager departments projects, total spend was 40,000 with 75,000 budgeted. For finance, spent was 9,000. Next slide is community sustainability. They had a budgeted 3.5 million with a spend of 670,000. We did group together the 1900 building project, so you can see how much was spent on that building, which is 3.4 million budgeted with 530,000 spent. Next, we have IT. So their project budget is 2.1 million for all their projects, and they've spent about 670,000 so far this year. Next, we have leisure services. They have budgeted about 5.9 million and spent about 1.9. So next we have public works. So they're going to be broken out by a couple of the enterprise funds. So altogether, public works across all funds have spent about 43.8 million, which I'll show on their last slide, and 16.7 million was spent. Of this, for the garage fund is 11.3 million budgeted with 1.6 million spent. You can see.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is this, when you say budget, it's spent, and maybe I missed this. Is this all in fiscal year 26?
All active projects in 26,
Okay.
starting 26. Even if they close, we're representing them here.
And
If
are they
were active
all
going into
intended to be closing in 26, or is some of this going to roll over to the CIP for 27?
There will be rollover. They're not going to all be completed in 26.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So this is the entire CIP and this is what we're working on right now.
Correct.
Thank you.
So if you look at, we have a column that has status for the second quarter
Yes.
and also comments that we got from the department.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes. And this is a good tool as we go into the budget.
For sure.
So you can make informed decisions.
I will memorize it.
So within the garage fund, we did group together the fuel tank and the public works facility, so you can see how much is allocated towards.
You okay? Okay.
Yes, we wanted to go over all the schedules first.
Oh.
On the totals, and then we could take your questions.
That's it. Good.
So the next slide, we have the garage fund. I'm sorry, the refuse fund. They budgeted 1.4 million with 739,000.
What page are you on? I might have gotten lost.
64.
Just point out the page numbers as you go.
Okay. So we're on slide 65. So now we're getting into the public works projects that are not enterprise fund related, which excludes the refuse fund and the garage fund. So for the non-enterprise fund projects, they have 31 million budgeted, which I'll show on the last slide for public works, and 14.3 million spent. So you can see here, we grouped together the K Street parking garage and the Gulfstream roadway projects. So on the next slide, 66, we have all the other roadway projects that are not considered Gulfstream. And then from then on, it's all the other projects that are not grouped together. So we're going to go on to slide 67.
If you can go back for a second, I'm just looking at the sidewalk ADA special We spent 882, we budgeted for 1.4. So, and it's completed, so that's excess that we can put someplace else in.
Yes,
Oh, good.
this is one of the examples. If a project is completed and we have excess
Came
funds,
in under, yeah.
we can always reallocate it,
Thank you.
preferably in this, within the same
Right.
roads.
Yeah.
Yes.
We certainly need more sidewalk improvements all over town.
So going back to slide 67 here, the totals I had mentioned earlier for the non-enterprise projects and for all of public works. So we're gonna go on to 68. Here we have the local sewer projects from the water team. They budgeted 7.2 million and spent 2.5 million. So next slide, 69, is the regional sewer projects, budgeting 4.2 million and spending 8.5 million. 14.2 million, sorry. The next is slide 70 for stormwater. 8.7 million budgeted with 3.3 million spent. And then for the next few slides for 71 and 72, that's for the water projects. So we have 16 million budgeted for water projects with 2.9 million spent. And then for the overall water utility team, they have 43.3 million budgeted with 17.4 million spent.
46.3.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 46. So for electric utility, we broke it out by non-trip related projects first. So on this page, we have 11.7 million budgeted and 1.2 million spent. We're going to go to slide 74, 5, 6, and 7 are all strip related projects. So for strip related projects, we're at 62.1 million budgeted and 35.6 million spent. And then the next slide, which is the last slide of the presentation for projects, is slide 78. So strip grip related projects, 20.7 million budgeted with about 7,000 spent so far. And then for all of electric utility, we're looking at 94.5 million budgeted with 36.8 million spent. So at this point, if you had any project related questions or statuses, you can ask them now.
Thank you. Ms. Malega and Mr. Segridge. He was his first, okay, Mr. Segridge.
Thank you. I'm just going to use as an example, like on IT, a lot of the projects just say cybersecurity, 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 cybersecurity. Is there a way of understanding, in more detail what those projects were? It's kind of a general question across all.
Really?
All right, fine. We'll use roadway.
We want those numbers be in the more specified budget book that we get. This is more of a whole.
Correct. So when you approve the CIP budget, remember there's always a worksheet there that details what those individual budgets are. But Nelly should be.
No, it's not. I don't need an answer now. It's just more in general. Like where can I go to find the more detail on it? So go back to the CIP book.
We could always provide you with the project worksheet for those items. It would have the details that you're looking for.
Ms. Malega.
Oh.
Thank you.
Wait, he's distracted. Okay.
One common denominator that I'm seeing that on a lot of, and this is for all the departments, on a lot of the projects that are complete and closed, we have remaining balances. And I just want to say thank you. That means that staff has been doing their due diligence and shopping and making sure that we're getting fair rates. And I mean, this is the stuff where we have to say thank you to staff because they're the ones who are doing it. I mean, one project under leisure services that the money that we're saving is just it's blowing my mind on some of these, and I'm thankful because that means we can turn around and put the funds somewhere else. 16,000 saved in a roadway project that's complete and closed. Concrete is at an all-time high. The fact that we're saving money on concrete is amazing. So I just want to say thank you to staff for doing their due diligence and bringing us in under budget on some of the CIP stuff. That's important.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, so the next item that I have on here, this is gonna be quick. This is basically, I'm just informing, I just want to let you guys know where we are with our bond, the balances that we have, so we'll just skip to the subtotals. So for the first one, this is the 2020 utility bond. That funded both, that funded electric, water and sewer. So I will go to page 80. So the remaining, for electric, the remaining balance that they have is 741,000. That's on the right side, top. Local sewer has 321,000 left. And the water fund has 365,000 left. So that means they've been pretty much spent. We are almost spending all the funds here. And the next bond is the 2020 non-ad valorem. That funded several funds. The general fund only has left 292,000. The beach fund only has 175,000 remaining. And the golf fund only has 2,700. Next slide. The garage fund has 920,000 remaining. Solid waste has 29,000, that's almost gone. IT only has 65,000 remaining. And then the electric obviously used all its money.
Can I ask a quick question? So on the 2020, how long do they have to draw those bonds down?
So before we get penalized for not spending it, it's usually 3 years.
That's what I thought.
On the fourth year, we have to, we start getting penalized.
2026.
Correct.
So
we've been paying the arbitrage because, again, we get penalized for the interest that we have earned on those dollars, because we are earning interest on those dollars. Yes.
Just looking at like some of these projects just quickly and wondering why we're not drawing these down to zero and not getting penalized.
Like for some of them, going back, if some of those projects are completed and there's leftover, we need to go back and reallocate it to a new project.
Well,
So
yeah, I
for
mean,
instance, if
it's 6 years later and I'm looking at just the one that's under the non-ad valorem, there's $292,000 there that could be going towards roads.
Correct.
Infrastructure. I mean, 175,000 under the non-ad valorem. I mean, it's crazy.
So on that particular bond, we have 292,000. However, if there's an amount, we only have 14,000 that has not been assigned to anything. So all the other ones are assigned to projects already that are ongoing.
Okay, so we don't see the assigned on here.
So in the first column, it gives you a description of the project. and
Budget drawdown.
Budget and then drawdown, right? So the reason the 292 is a combination of the Royal Ponciano Park improvements,
Right.
which they haven't drawn down anything, and the Youth Empowerment Center.
And
And by the way, these projects they were already presented by in Hector's presentation. They're already included in.
understood. So it's not that we're not spending the money. These projects are in.
Well, if they have not spent the money, that means we can't draw it down. We only draw down money that we have spent.
So then these, in
encumbering
my
doesn't
opinion, these CIP projects should be at the top of the to-do list.
Correct.
Not, I mean, I'm looking at why.
What page again?
On page 82, we have Royal Poinciana Park Improvements Youth Empowerment Center, which is being done now, and TBD, to be determined 14,000. To me, before we do anything else, we should be making sure that we do the Royal Poinciana Park improvements and spend that 93.
Correct.
And not focusing on, I mean, I know we're looking at Tropical Ridge and all, but to me, we should be spending the money that we have to spend first, or reallocate and make instead of could we change Royal Poinciana to Tropical Ridge?
Absolutely. As long so the non-ad valorem one is very flexible. It's not very restrictive.
I mean, I live in Royal Poinciana and I know I'm probably gonna scream at for that, but to me, I would rather take that Royal Poinciana Park improvement and say, okay, we're doing the Tropical Ridge one next week. Why doesn't that say Tropical Ridge? and draw that money from there.
Because Tropical Ridge is being funded by a grant.
We need extra money for the things that we were just talking about the other day.
No, we have extra money in it.
So in this particular case, we'll have to check with the department to see where they are with this project,
Mhm.
whether they need the funds or not. And
Okay,
if
I
they
just
did-
think that we need to focus on spending the money on the 2020 before we spend funds anywhere else.
Yeah,
If
we
we've
should
got
pay-
funds sitting in parks, let's make sure we're using it from the parks on that not ad one bond.
Absolutely.
Paying interest is painful. I hate it.
Given it's not- yeah.
Mr. Segridge.
So what exactly is the penalty that we're receiving for not spending it on time?
I don't have the number with me, so it's usually like, I would have to give you those, I'll have to dig into those numbers.
You said it's
Um,
on the interest, right?
yeah, but it's basically on the interest that we earn on those dollars. So
Oh.
it's not
It's
like we
not
have to
on
come
the-
out of pocket for it. It's just basically what we have earned with the interest income on these bond proceeds that are just sitting in
So
the
in
bank.
in this example, there's a penalty on the 69,000.
Where's that?
What
page? Oh, that's the interest that we received, that we earned.
And then we get penalized for earning it.
Yes.
Right. So the question, what amount is the penalty for that?
I would have to get back to you now.
Why do I think it's like 3%? That sounds,
So we get the arbitrage report that goes a bond for each bond, and it calculates how much interest we have earned. And if it goes beyond the yield, the interest that we're paying on these bonds, that overage is calculated to be reimbursed to the IRS.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So technically, we really have to spend money.
Go shopping. Let's do a little shopping. Okay.
Where was I?
Yeah.
Which page?
Good question.
86? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, really.
All right, so the Stone Fund has a balance of 953,000. And then now we'll move on to the next bond, which is the 2022 construction.
Excuse me, Miss May has a question.
This is for Vaughn, and this is about the South Palm Park situation. When you get a solution to this, could some of this extra stuff be spent on that? How do you know?
She knows the answer.
Von Baker Water Utilities local sewer fund is completely different from sub-regional sewer. The regional sewer fund is all operating out of fund balance because we have the municipal partners that pay into that. So unfortunately, we cannot use bond money that is currently allocated to local sewer projects towards a sub-regional sewer project.
Could we use? So we would have to make sure that all of the sub-regional partners agree that this is something we need to spend.
Yes.
Could we, and this is, obviously we don't have time for this tonight, so I will bring it back, but I was thinking, could we pay for it and have them reimburse us?
That would be a financial question.
Okay, that's definitely not tonight. So,
Okay.
okay.
But I mean, just
Not
to
tonight, not tonight.
reassure you for tonight and keep it short, they are aware that this is coming. It's going to happen, whether we get state legislative funding, anything, it's coming. So.
Okay. All right.
So for the next bond, the 2022 utility bond, electric has a balance of 23 million, which most of it will be used as a match, or at least half of it as a match with the GRIP grant. Sewer fund has a remaining balance of 266,000, and the water fund has a remaining balance of 1.1 million. Okay. And we did, and the next bond, we did.
hang on, Yannick.
Sorry.
Oh,
So
I'm
the
sorry,
one that
Mr.
you just
Miller.
touched on the sewer, so it shows budgeted 625, they drew down 426 and change, same thing. The
Yeah.
pipeline network, they drew it down. So both, looks to me, by looking
Bless
at
you.
this, both projects are complete now. And there's $266,000 left after both projects being completed. Is that accurate?
Yes, if the project is determined completed on the CIP that Hector presented, then yes, so they would.
So
they
then
would-
that-
They would have to reallocate these funds within, because these are bond funds.
Correct.
It would have to stay within that fund.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So then they would have 266,000 to be able to put towards another project
In the sewer fund.
In the
in
sewer,
the sewer,
yes.
exactly.
That's why we usually come back to the dais to do a budget amendments,
Transfer.
resolution to move
Transfer the money and move
to
it
a
over to a
different,
different
to a new
project.
fund, yes.
Right, thank you.
So we'll be looking forward to lots of those requests.
To those.
Sorry?
We'll be looking forward to lots of those
Yes.
requests. Okay,
Yes.
good.
It's nice to have leftover money.
The next bond is a separate bond, small bond that we went for the stormwater. It was in 2025, obviously. We haven't spent anything on that. So we still have the whole 2.8 million remaining. Okay. The next bond is the 2025 construction utility bond. That's also fairly new. And if you look at
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Malega has a question.
Can you go back to page 88 real quick? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Under the electric utility,
Yes,
so you showed that it has a bond balance of 23.8 million, right?
yes,
On the lower left-hand side, I see total grant match, 10,349,000.
right. That's gonna come out of there. It's gonna come out of the 23 million.
So then we'd still have another 13 million?
Yes, that's remaining. And these are ongoing projects, mainly for SHRIP. So eventually they'll get
So you've
spent.
already calculated some of the grant. It's just gonna come out. It hasn't come out of that total yet?
No, it hasn't come out of that total yet. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would, so going back to that slide, slide 88, I would assume most of it is in the in the AMI, advanced metering infrastructure. What that 9 million is, plus other funds in there. Yeah. Okay. What was that? 90? 92? Yes, sorry. So this is the utility bond that we issued in 25 as well. With the electric having remaining balance of 34.9 million. We only draw down 917, so this is also fairly new. And as you can see here, you can see the interest that we're earning on those funds, just the funds just sitting there. So we already earned about 1.2 million, which could be reallocated towards the same SHRIP project. So so for instance, if you don't spend this money by let's say by 2030, then we start off that interest, we start paying the fines to IRS.
But we won't have that happen. We will finish everything.
Yes, but SHRIP projects, I mean, I don't want Ed to come here and explain.
He's lurking back there.
But SHRIP projects those projects take a long time. Yes. Sorry, Ed. All right. And then the next is for the water fund, we'll have you have a remaining balance of 10.3. Again, this bond is fairly new, so we haven't really spent that much. And last in the local sewer, they have a balance of remaining balance of 2.3 million. And that concludes the bond schedules, unless you have any particular questions on those. Commissioner Segridge.
What, Mr. Segridge?
Just a quick question. What's the rate we're paying on the bonds? Is it different per bonds or?
Those bonds, if I remember correctly, it's about 4 to 5%.
And
Or three to.
is the interest that we're earning different for each? Or are they all like in the same?
No, it's just the same interest because they're all in the US bank.
Mhm.
Or FL class, they're in the investment pool, money market.
Do we know what that interest that we're
It's
earning?
about 3.7 right now. It started back then, it was used to be at 4, I think 2 years ago. But now it's like between 3.5.
So they're almost canceling each other out.
Pretty much, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda is discretionary sales tax. Again, I'm just gonna go a quick overview. What you see here, it's all gone, and you can see that for fiscal year 26, we were averaging about $4 million in the past 3 years. And so at that, and now we're 1 million, and we were no longer going to be receiving these funds. So we've collected over 30 million in the past. We have earned interest of about 2 million, and we have spent to date, we have spent about 14.2 million. Okay. And the next slide.
Does that expire?
Yes, the revenue, we're no longer receiving.
I understand we're not receiving any more revenue, but do we have to spend it in a certain amount of time?
I do not recall seeing that deadline in the agreement. but I'll definitely double check.
Yeah, because
we do-
otherwise we need to figure out what we're
we-
gonna do with
ex-
15 grand. I
exactly.
mean, million.
It's already earmarked on discretionary sales tax.
Yeah.
For projects.
With the 14.2
Oh,
that we
okay.
spent already, the next slide shows that we spent 14.2, but we also have additional funds that we have allocated to specific projects. Most notably, the K Street Garage, and obviously you have the beach, the pool, the famous pool. We started off at 6 million, but because of those the beach complex developed, the professional fees from Suskovich, is it Suskovich?
Mm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we've already allocated, we've
Enthusiasm
taken
for
out
the
two
woman.
point seven five out of it, so right now we have about 5.8 million from the pool, from those funds that were allocated for the pool, 5.8 million.
And my understanding is that whatever happens, whatever happens with the pool, whether there's no pool back at the beach, the breaking down of the old pool and moving all that stuff and filling it in, the charges for that will come out of that $5 million.
Absolutely, yes.
That's not good. Boy, you gotta do something. Yeah. Okay.
Everybody get a shovel.
So that would come, the next pages are mainly the description of where we spent the funds or where the funds are committed. And that concludes our discretionary sales tax. And again, we have a balance now of 4.8 million. And we're planning on allocating that towards the road improvement projects. Which I think within the next 2 years should be all gone.
Where's 4.8 million? What?
Page 96.
Oh, okay. I was looking
Right.
up there.
Moving on. ARPA funds, this is just an update of where we are with ARPA funds. We pretty much spent everything, for ARPA funds. What we have left is on slide 102. And the 2.9 million that you see remaining budget, that needs to be spent by the end of December. Or else we'll have to cut a check to the federal. Yes. Yes.
Wait, how much do we have left?
2.9 million.
Can we use it to, like we did before, use it to pay yeah.
No, Ken, these
Okay.
are restricted funds.
Right.
Yeah, the previous page has
Can we do roads?
with this, so once we already appropriate, I think the deadline to appropriate this was December 2024, hence why we did the swap with
Right.
PPSO. So once we already appropriate, we cannot change it.
Okay,
we-
but we haven't appropriated the 2.9?
No, we have. The projects are already, they're listed to the left.
Project source, but not done yet.
They're just not done yet.
Page 1. Project source that are
Projects sourced from restricted ARPA funds. And you see it all hasn't been spent. Northwest Ball Field, Stormwater Main, John
We-
Rice Way.
We were very practical.
So
with our
It
spending.
needs to be spent by then?
Has to be spent by this.
So we have to actually give the vendor the money.
Yes.
Okay.
We gotta cut a check.
So what is the 2.9? That's the total of that.
Yes.
Okay, so it's already been, we know what we're spending
It's
it
already
on.
been allocated.
Earmarked and allocated.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
All right, the last slide, the last section of the agenda.
So don't give
Uh,
them any more jobs. Let's get these jobs done,
Yes.
is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. I'm harassing the departments to spend this money as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it out of their fund balance. Anyway, the next part, I think we've already covered this already. Obviously, I gave you guys this way before we got the updates yesterday.
Right.
Where next week they're going to a special session. From what I hear is, with property taxes, the homestead exemption will go up to 250. I think the first year may be 150,000 and the following year up to 250. So we don't really know what's gonna happen there. And then the utility transfer legislation, that keeps coming back every year for as long as I've been here, and also as mentioned by Ed. So we just play by ear for now.
Let's hope they keep infighting.
Correct, yes.
Mr.
And-
McBoy?
Are you done? Yeah, and the other one that's not listed on here is related to building permits and inspections. As William indicated, we'll have to determine what the fiscal impact is going to be on that. Okay, and that concludes my presentation with the legislative updates.
Are we, you guys, I mean, it really is.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I had a question and now I forgot it. Mr. McBoy had a question.
Okay, maybe it'll come back.
Now, hopefully,
Hopefully.
2 o'clock.
I'm not sure I'm totally on top of whether we have any little bits and pieces here and there of money that's unspoken for that might need to get spent. I'm just going to remind my colleagues that at one point we had an offer from the owner, and I always mix up the name, I believe it's the Sunset Drive property at the top, that he said if we came up with $3 million, he'd sell it to us. I think we should keep that in mind if we happen to have, stumble onto some 3 million, or even if we, came up with less and maybe he'd take a down payment. I think that would be a strong investment in our
I agree.
city.
I agree.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank.
I did have a question.
Sure.
I remembered my
Yeah.
question.
Good.
Are we preparing, in preparation for this potential tax cut, are we preparing a budget that's like 10% below? Oh, and what did they say?
They're going to prepare different models for us based on the fears.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Stan Tech is going to do that too as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. So, keep these financial updates, so that way you can make informed decisions during the budget. Pay attention to the fund balances and where we are with the capital projects as well. And I want to thank, the departments. They've been very patient with us.
And departments, get your money
Yeah,
spent
this
out
is
of the
amazing.
bonds.
And I know that I was one of the ones who asked for these quarterly updates, and it's really helpful.
Yes.
It really is. And I honestly think it's a little bit of a,
Reality check.
well, it's a reality check, but it's a little bit of accountability as we go through the
Yes.
year too. And
And
as
sure
much,
is-
as much as it sucks for you guys to get it going,
Correct.
hopefully you're finding some sort of productivity
It is.
in it.
And it also helps the department to know
Where they
have so many
are.
projects. So
Exactly.
it helps them
Sure.
to know where they are with the project, what they need to spend. et cetera.
Right. It sort of forces project
I
management.
think it also
Absolutely.
reassures the residents, and the employees on the financial end on where the city is.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great information. And I know that you went from 0 to this
Correct.
in maybe 5 quarters,
Yeah.
but it's really well done. Thank you.
Thank you. And,
Thank you.
yes. and
Oh, Monica, this is so sad.
Monica has been very helpful throughout the transition process. She's been training well, Hector
Oh,
and
good.
Candace, and right now this is my A team, so they did most of the legwork. I just
Oh.
kept delegating.
Do it.
Motion to not allow Monica to
Yeah,
leave.
real. We do not accept your resignation, as if we had, as if we had anything to do with hiring and firing.
I think she's going to the White House.
No, it's really, it's great. It's, if we had, if there was a little project like $15,000-$20,000 project.
Yes.
I'm thinking about replacing the invasives at the beach. Could we say, hey, can we do a requesting for stuff like that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Deal with invasive species.
I want to get rid of the invasives at the beach. We spend so much
The what?
time, thank
Correct.
you. We spend so much time planting that and preserving that dune. And a study has been done. They've identified where it is, where the invasives are, where the messes are, and how much it would take to get rid of them and plant new ones.
Yeah.
And I think it's south of $20,000.
So in those cases, when you have a new project, so what we could do, we'll look at the bond, whatever balance we have left over in the bond for completed projects, we could then reallocate it.
Go there
and
first.
So it can go to the project that you do
Great.
select.
Because we all might have little projects that we want.
Well, I think Mr. Hitchcock wants us just to stop this showers from being left on.
That is a problem.
I've been up there and I don't see them.
I know, I think it's, yeah, I don't know. I've,
Motion to adjourn.
do I have a second?
Also.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Oh, we just wanted to tell you we have your budget books and then we'll have the supplementals for tomorrow.
Oh, goody.
Thank you.
Because we'll put them on the page with our city manager, our city internal auditor.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Hector will handle it.
All in favor?
Thank you very much. All in
Thanks so
favor?
much.
Aye.